We got 10 minutes of this left that we'll check out after. But now we have to. I want to check this one out here.
Got another.
This is from just a day ago here. 27,000 subscribers. I've been using this term for years. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's see what we got.
Got another donation from Matt Foose. Matt is getting at it this time. Matt says, what, in your opinion, generally prevents SOCDEM, socialists, and communists from becoming anarchists?
I now I can only speak for like the experience of comrades that I've been around and like my own experience, but it seems like to me like most of the people I know that are like that call themselves communists today, a great deal of them anyway had like an anarchist phase at some point or another. So much so that actually I made a meme like a while ago that got a lot of traction in a few spaces. Like, definitely helped to grow my my Twitter following. This one meme. See if I can find it here. I use Pokemon in the meme. I mean, generally speaking, Sam, I think like there's the meme that I made. Generally speaking, the experience of like most of my comrades that I have that I know went from going the opposite, from anarchist towards being communist rather than the other way around. But I'm sure there are some. And again, just before we continue, like anytime we're critiquing anarchists, we're critiquing anarchism, the philosophy, right? Like that has a European tradition. We're critiquing that particular thing, which is what anarchists are basing their philosophies from, such as like Peter Kropotkin or Proudhon or so on and so forth.
It's what I mentioned earlier, what I call hierarchical realism. And this is kind of related to what is called capitalist realism. Mark Fisher wrote a book called Capitalist Realism. And capitalist realism is the belief that the only system which can exist is capitalism, essentially, that we are at the end of history. There is nothing beyond capitalism. And I use this phrase hierarchical realism to refer to a similar concept, but for hierarchy. The belief
Hierarchical realism. So it's like the term capitalist realism, but for hierarchy.
that hierarchy is the only way to organize society, that there is no future wherein we can have a non-hierarchical society, that hierarchy is optimal, it is the best, there's no moving past it. And I think hierarchical realism is a result of the social abusive tendencies of a hierarchical society.
And right there, I'm already starting to see a problem with this kind of analysis, like the coming from the abuse of a hierarchical society, and like I just again, because this gets into territory that I see all the time where I see anarchists that will try and claim like this First Nation society or that First Nation society is like an example of anarchism where there wasn't any hierarchy or something. And that almost to me like feels almost like an extension of like the same colonizer like analysis of like First Nations and like not actually seeing their actual structures, right? Like for example, the like in the Wabanaki Confederacy, for example, there definitely is a hierarchy, although it is combined with proper democracy, right? Centralism and hierarchy is still a thing that existed. It's like, but like even in like concept GMO, right? Like this, and this is where it runs into a problem. How do you organize without any hierarchy at all? How do you actually go about organizing revolution and like and defend against like a counter revolution, or like in the case of somewhere like Korea or Cuba or something like this, how are you going to defend against an oncoming U.S. empire without any hierarchy at all? How do you run like a military operation like that? Yeah, and sometimes some of them do use unjust hierarchies, which then it's like a whole nother question of, well, who's justifying it, right?
In a way that, sorry if this is triggering at all, talking about abuse just for an interpersonal abuse, like in relationships here for a moment. But in an abusive relationship, what takes place is the abuser imprints their abusive ideology onto the victim. They abuse the victim, they break them down over and over and over, and their goal is to make the victim believe about themselves what the abuser believes about the victim, such that the victim becomes more malleable. They do what the abuser wants. They degrade the victim. They break down their psyche little by little until the victim is now able to be controlled. The victim no longer fights back. The victim now believes about themselves what the abuser believes about them. I think that just takes place at a social scale under hierarchical power structures.
And you see the problem with this is like, so now he's just implied that every single hierarchy in the world is based on this abusive relationship, or is based on breaking people down, etc. Right? Which then you can imagine what that leads you to believe about like countries fighting against imperialism or something. How do you think people then get to those conclusions? But well, anti-imperialist countries bad too.
Hierarchical power structures, they essentially carry out these same features of abuse, but at the social scale. And so we are all essentially institutionalized by hierarchy. And so we've taken into our minds this belief that hierarchy is the only way that society can exist, that the only structure by which politics can be managed. And in that process, we begin to think about ourselves what our abuser thinks about us, which is that we are servile, lowly, degraded, and that we must have some powerful leader who is better than us and who knows better than us to tell us what to do. And therefore we.
And just let me ask you, in your, if those of you who have studied like works of Lenin and Mao, etc., is that what you get from the works when you read it, that they're trying to break you down as the reader and make you believe that they're the all-powerful ones? put a put a one in chat if that's the sense you get when you read like Marx, Engels, or Mao, or Lenin, or Stalin, and put a zero if you feel like they're absolutely trying to control you when you read those books. Tell you that they're the best. Like definitely when you read Marx, right? He's saying, "I'm the best. I'm the only good one, and nobody else has a good analysis. You're all you're all servile to me, Marx." Karl Marx. Kneel before Karl. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't align. Like, and it takes, and what it is like basically a European projection again on like every single hierarchical organization that has ever existed as being an abusive relationship, which is problematic in like a special racist kind of way. You know, if you didn't catch that. Lower Disby, welcome in. There was another one. Oh, here it was. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna look. I kind of want to look at some of this video. I don't know how much of this I can make it through, but I'm already seeing a problematic comment on this video here. I want to look at the comment to that last one.
Got another donation from Matt Fu.
But I already see a problematic comment right here. At this point, another important point is that,
and each of the
Christ, my mouse. Another important point is that Rojava and Zapatistas have survived for quite some time. And this is what I'm talking about the way, like, too many anarchists, and I don't know if this person is from the West, but I notice it happens mostly from people living in the imperial core, that they will try and claim Zapatistas as being anarchist, when literally they have written fucking articles asking people to stop calling them anarchist. This is what I was saying. I see this a lot coming from certain anarchists towards First Nations as well. Being like, well, and they'll just give you a blanket statement. I find most of the time, well, they say, well, most First Nations were anarchist societies, not actually like name the actual individual nation that they're claiming is supposedly organized without any hierarchy or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they literally have written fucking articles asking not to be called this. I was looking for the link I had about it, but I can't find it right now. I guess there's worse things to be called, but it's just strange to you that they wrote a response to it. You mean, Ridisby, or that anarchists claim these places? I mean, Rojava as well. Like, am I wrong in thinking that's the one that's currently like being co-opted by fucking the U.S.? Yeah, exactly, Red. That's what I find so strange and like kind of off-putting. I mean, that was one thing that led me to start studying more like communist stuff. Because I myself, like, at first studied anarchist material first because, well, All the anti-colonial, all the anti-communist bullshit, right? See, see, there, right there. I knew you'd find one eventually. I find the idea that anti-authoritarianism is Western is very racist because a lot of indigenous and aboriginal groups live in a very non-hierarchical society. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here is these Western anarchists. I just wanted to start to see this one here. I don't know if I'll make it all the way through it.
Hey everyone, Anarch here. And this is sort of a new kind of video on the channel. That is to say, I'm going to be doing a response to another YouTuber's video. That is Second Thought's video, Authoritarianism. Now, generally, I don't do response videos to other YouTubers. I definitely don't want to get into that like debate niche. I don't want to have a channel based around drama baiting. However, I've had numerous people reach out to me who I really respect, who thought that it was a good idea for me to do a response to this video. Second Thought has a very large platform, and a lot of people probably saw that video. So I went and I watched it, and what I found was it really didn't form a substantive rebuttal to any of the critiques of anarchists or libertarian socialists.
The reason why he's going to say it doesn't form a rebuttal to anarchist or libertarian viewpoints is because he's going to say it cited heavily from Engels on authoritarianism, which is literally a rebuttal to anarchist and libertarian viewpoints. Oh yeah, absolutely, Radisby, for sure. And again, when I'm talking about anarchism, I'm talking about like anarchism as a philosophy, right? And we're going to be seeing what the philosophy of anarchism's understanding of authority is. And if you have read, I don't know how many of you in here have actually read Engels on Authority, but one of the major points that Engels on Authority mentions is that whenever you get into a conversation or discussion with anarchists about the word authority, it always ends up devolving into not a discussion about authority, but rather onto a discussion about the definition of the word authority. That's one of the major points that Engels makes in that book on authority. Is that anarchists believe that when they change the name of things that they have changed the thing themselves. Hey NTC, welcome in. Like that's one of the quotes. Yeah. It's not that long of a work. Looking for that. It's actually really good work. Thank you, Frank, for linking this. Wish I could find the part right quick where he says that, but supposing a social revolution dethroned the capitalists, who now exercise their authority over the production and circulation of wealth. Supposing to adopt entirely the point of view of the anti-authoritarians that the land and the instruments of labor had become the collective property of the workers who use them, will authority have disappeared, or will it only have changed its form? I do like that. Yeah, that part's important, though. That part's important to think about while we're watching this. And I submitted agreements like these to the most rabid anti-authoritarians. The only answer they were able to give me is the following: yes, that's true, but it is not the case of authority which we confer on our delegates, but of a commission entrusted. These gentlemen think that they have changed the names of things. They have changed the things themselves. This is how these profound thinkers mock at the whole world. Thank you. That is the part I was looking. We have seen that on the one hand, a certain authority, no matter how delegated, and on the other hand, a certain subordination, are things which, independently of all social organizations, are imposed upon us together with the material conditions under which we produce and make products circulate.
In a very real way, it kind of just represented a repetition of Engels' essay on authority. In fact, as we'll see, on authority is cited directly. Before I continue, I also want to clarify that this is not a video of me attacking Second Thought. In a general sense, I don't really have a problem with Second Thought as a person, and honestly, most of his videos are at least informative. I think they generally steer people in the right direction, even if I disagree with him sometimes. So don't take this as me trying to debunk Second Thought as a person. You can kind of take these arguments and apply them as you like across his material and decide for yourself whether they're good critiques. I'm going to lay out the anarchist conception of authoritarianism. And I think after you hear the way that it's been described, you'll understand exactly what the anarchist critique is, and you'll understand why, even after Engels published On Authority, it really didn't change anything about the anarchist critique, nor did it change anything about the anarchist conception of how a revolution should be done.
Why would Engels publishing that change the anarchist conception? Of course it didn't. That's the problem.
So let's get started actually looking at Second Thought's video. I suppose I need to make the preface here that go watch Second Thought's video. It's not that long, so it's really not that much effort to go watch. And I hope you'll see that I'm not really cherry picking or taking Second Thought out of context here, but we're not going to watch the entire video together. I'm going to choose specific segments and we're going to talk about those segments. And then at certain points, I'll give counterpoints so you can understand the anarchist perspective on these topics.
We're going to get the
first is Second Thought's conception of authoritarianism.
Authoritarianism, favoring or enforcing strict obedience to authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. Okay. This is a pretty bad definition if we're being honest. It mentions the government in there, but doesn't really commit to being political, just kinda, when you want people to follow the rules. That's not super helpful when we're trying to nail down a heavily used term, and one that deals with some serious topics.
So the definition that Second Thought starts us out with here is a dictionary definition. And I'd like to note that it's always a bad idea to start a discussion about politics or political theory in general with a dictionary definition. I think this is a common mistake that people can make. You know, dictionary definitions talk about common usages. However, when we're talking about political theory, we're talking about ideas wherein we need high degrees of specificity and detail. Also, political theory has so many different thinkers within it that we also need to be regarding which definition we are actually using, right? Political theory...
The problem is that he already critiqued that dictionary definition at the beginning of the thing, but anyway, I guess...
Like a lot of academic topics, it uses words in ways which are not common usage. And what that means is we also have to be clear, you know, whose usage of authoritarianism are we using here? However, I will at least concede that Second Thought's probably not trying to go in on that quite yet. Second Thought is pointing out to us here how authoritarianism, or this word authoritarian, is...
Otherwise, if like when you set up your definition of the word, if the other person isn't going to agree to that definition with you, then you just end up having a semantic debate than a debate actually about what you're trying to discuss.
It's kind of nebulous in its usage in a lot of contexts. So before we continue, I just want to be absolutely clear what I mean by authoritarianism. When I say authoritarianism, and this is generally the case...
So wait, now I'm already confused. So JT was starting to give us a working definition that was going to be used for the video to discuss authoritarianism, and now this person's going to give us an entirely different definition that they're going to use for it. How is that going to work? How is that addressing you see what I'm saying? Like, how is that then addressing what JT was talking about if you're then going to define something differently and talk about that instead? Seeing the problem there?
When you see this word authoritarianism being used across...
And again, you don't have to agree. Like, it's just like if I call like a country socialist and you don't agree that it's socialist, as long as you know what I mean, like when I refer to that, then we can work on that same definition and discuss from there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sebs is giving us some context that I kind of expected after watching that last video, Sebs. I'm not going to lie. Some context to who this person is. This is a command in chat. Anarchic is the dude who suggested that the black youths killed in Chaz deserved it. He also suggested that Chaz was ruined by black men silencing and hurting black women. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. The last video I mentioned, he discussed Sebs. I don't know if you're here when we just watched the short video from him. He discussed how all hierarchical relationships, with basically saying without exception, are based on like abuse, which I find to be extremely like racist and ignorant of like all kinds of hierarchical organizations under First Nation societies and other native cultures that were not based on abusing and breaking down the fucking people and making one person out to be a god or all-knowing or whatever the fuck. Like, that's a very like mechanical interpretation that doesn't apply to every society that has ever had hierarchy. So it's like a dishonest definition. But again, like, so already the problem with this is that JT gave that definition of what he was working with, the definition of authoritarianism. It looked like to me in the clip that he was using that JT was going to go on and give like an improved definition of it. And then Anarchic, in response, is then going to redefine the word and use that as their analysis.
The anarchist or libertarian...
Exactly, Frank. It's an attempt to manifest, and that's why they reclaim like First Nation, try to claim like First Nation societies, or the Zapatistas which we already saw in the, I think that's in the comments of this one, right? Yeah, right here. Another important point is that Rojava and Zapatistas, which, again, anarchists love to appropriate non-anarchist, fucking non-strictly anarchist movements as being anarchist. And they'll even do it to First Nation societies and say, actually, I think that was in here too, wasn't it? All the hits. All the hits, I believe. Yeah. See, all the fucking hits. You get them every single time. Like this person, I find the idea that anti-authoritarianism is Western is very racist because a lot of indigenous and aboriginal groups live in a very non-hierarchical society. Like, why are you making a blanket statement and just like saying all indigenous, lots of indigenous groups are like, name some fucking nations then, you know? Name a nation or two.
Socialist literature. We're talking about the degree to which some power structure monopolizes the flow of power within an organization. And this is important.
So, so now again, I.
Three of us.
Yeah.
She was.
Bug had her surgery today. Andrewism? Wait, was that one of the ones I read? Oh, this one. This is a really well formulated response to one of the most common misrepresentations and misunderstandings of the anarchist critique. Doing growling? Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't know that she was still growling. What? God. Is she on drugs? Yeah, I'm just wondering if she's like on painkiller drugs or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay, anyway, sorry for that. Yeah, Comrade Bug is healing from her surgery now. Wish her luck. She'll be fine. Yeah, so again, want to find the part where J says 459. I just want to see, like, so JT, this was favoring the enforcing strict obedience of authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. And then he's starting to say, like, this is mentions the governments, but it's not entirely political, and it's kind of a bad definition. So, I don't know. He was starting to say something else after that. But then, so the definition that we're going to be working with, apparently, it's stuck. So the definition we're going to be working with apparently is the degree to which a power structure monopolizes control over the total social implementation of some power. That seems like an even worse definition than the other one. The one that JT started to criticize, doesn't it? Like, the degree, authoritarianism, the degree to which it's a measurement now? It sounded like it's like I thought like either something is authoritarian or it's not. Authoritarianism is the degree to which a power structure monopolizes control over the total social implementation of some power. Okay. Get your authority calibers out.
yes, this corresponds heavily to the concept of centralization, but it's not exactly synonymous with the concept of centralization, right? You could have a few different sites of power, and each of them serve to monopolize the power that would generally be controlled by the people, which roots from the people.
What do you mean that would generally be controlled by the people? You have two poles and... Yeah, I just read that quote just a little while ago. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's funny because they think that now they're rebutting Engels, but it's like Engels already addressed this and you all just refuse to, like, you just refuse to actually understand what the criticism is, right? And again, they get down to exactly the same thing, the definitions, just like I'm saying. But this part here kind of confuses me.
Have a few different sites of power.
You could have a few different sites of power.
And each of them serve to monopolize the power that would generally be controlled by the people, which roots from the people. But instead, the way that that power is dictated and determined, the way it flows, takes place by a very small number of power holders. And moreover, it is monopolized by those power holders. However, I also want to be clear.
I'm confused about that part.
Here that the definition of authoritarianism that I'm using here, it leaves out a component that is often present when you look at anarchist and libertarian socialist theory, and that is this concept of domination. Domination is the degree to which some power structure utilizes coercion, violence, and deception in order.
Okay, so now we have domination, we have authoritarianism, and this domination is the degree. Everything's the degree, I guess, to which some power structure utilizes coercion, violence, and or deception to achieve its ends.
In order to maintain itself.
All right.
Usually, anarchists and libertarian socialists, they just sort of fold domination into authoritarianism, right? They sort of include them together. And this is because, in a general sense, authoritarianism corresponds with domination. Where you monopolize power, you're going to find that that monopolization of power is going to tend to catalyze itself with coercion, violence, and deception. And as we continue forward, I just want to note, he never really addresses this conception of authoritarianism.
Why would he? Why would he just address your definition that you're just like spinning up, that you're bringing up here? That makes no sense. Hi, Conehead. Hi, Conehead. God. Oh, God. EJ is one that I feel like it's got to be so close, right? Like how can... I just don't get it. Why? It's not an identity. Just, if you understand these things, can't you just... Anyway, let's see the clip. Let's see the clip.
I don't see a conflict there. I think that there can be Marxists.
Oh, I see. We gotta read what yours says. It's almost like material reality is Marxian and not an anarchist concept. I mean, reality is reality, to be fair, not even Marxian.
I don't see a conflict there. I think that there can be Marxists who have a lot of Marxists, Leninists and such have a tenuous grasp on material reality, I guess you could say, or there are idealists, let's say. And there are also anarchists who do try to grapple with the realities that face us. So I don't know. I think anybody.
Again, this is the perfect example of what I'm always harping on about how, like, there's this tendency to treat it as some sort of like identity. Again, it's like let's see, they're idealists. Therefore, they're not Marxists then. Okay. But it's like, but then there's gonna be anarchists who are materialists. it's just like, and this is an example of that. It's like, well, I already understand that materialism or dialectical materialism is correct, but I identify as an anarchist. You know, like, why? 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 Because you chose that, and this is what I am. I'm here. It's like such as, I don't know what it is. It's like very strange, you know. And there's even all these different, like, and the anarcho-syndicalist. I'm the anarcho-communist, the anarcho-mutualist. I feel like, and that speaks to exactly what I'm talking about, right? I'm also a material
You can mess this
boy.
up. It's easy to mess it up. It's easy to fall into false consciousness. So I don't ascribe that to any particular tendency per se. I mean, obviously some tendencies, like for instance, anarcho-capitalism, are just like completely divorced from reality.
So is anarcho-communism, my guy. Like, sorry, I people who call themselves anarcho-communists, they're very much potential comrades and allies, but the actual, again, I'm not talking about the people who identify as that so much as I'm talking about anarchism, the philosophy. And anarchism is anarcho-communism, Prodhan, all of it is based on an idealist or a vulgar materialist understanding of the world. Which is why instead of actually like addressing what Engels gives us for a definition of authority and then discusses what that means, the anarchists are still doing exactly what he's critiquing on authority, and talking about how it's a different definition, that they're not addressing the anarchist definition. Like, well, the anarchist definition doesn't matter if most people aren't accepting of that definition. You see the problem there? Like, you can redefine the word all you want. You can say, oh, what we're doing over here is not an authority. This revolution is an anti-authoritarian revolution. This is an anti-authority revolution. But if it still looks like authority to everybody else and they call you authority and they're not accepting of your definition, then what are you going to do? You know? What do you do then? If most of the people around you are not accepting of your definition of authority or authoritarianism, then what? What do you do then? It's just like, how do you solve that problem? But instead we get all of this, like, about the different definitions and this, like, okay?
The closest he's ever going to get is when he refers to On Authority by Engels, but we'll address that as we proceed. So starting here, what Second Thought does is he starts giving examples of what most people think of when they think of authoritarianism.
Well, if you have a scroll through the comments of just about any political video that talks about socialism, you'll find people ready with their pre-written list of objections, usually bundled under the prime objection, that's authoritarian. Things on that list include the existence of large prisons or labor camps, a covert police force, state media, a strongman leader, censorship, that sort of thing.
These examples actually are examples of authoritarianism.
Go figure.
However, they are examples of authoritarianism when you recognize what the meaning of authoritarianism is. They all exist.
What? Excuse me? Yeah, exactly, Seb. So it's just, none of it makes sense. Like, how would you get them to ever accept that definition? You just like coerce, you just like persuade them over such a long period of time that what? Imperialism's doing what around you? Waiting? Like, waiting for your definition? Let's see.
Exist through monopolization of some flow of power by a small body of holders, and they utilize violence, coercion, and deception at their core. So here, second thought.
Okay, so then by this definition, so here's what I want to point out then. By this definition that he's using right here, socialist countries are not authoritarian then. You see, when you've created a whole new definition
violence,
of something,
coercion,
because you're trying to like fit it into
by
something
a small
that can
body of
actually
holders,
be used, you end up describing
they
something
utilize
that might
violence,
actually exist.
coercion, and deception at their core. So here, second thought kind of lays out a summary of what he's going to do in the video.
Here's what we're going to do.
So, see? Do you see why I'm saying this? Like, that isn't what makes up the core of social relations in a socialist society, as we hopefully are coming to learn.
Authoritarianism, when you recognize what the meaning of authoritarianism is. They all exist through monopolization of some flow of power by a small body of holders, and they utilize violence, coercion, and deception at their core.
And this is why I always like to point out to you, like, how interesting it is, how honest, like, any socialist state is about having a propaganda department and what the hell that is, right? And what they do. There's a really great quote that I would like to find right about now. Yeah, she's determined. I want to find this quote right here. Might be the one. Yeah, here it is. This is the quote I'm actually looking for. The fact also that the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie is a secret, concealed, backstage dictatorship which needs plausible camouflage with which to deceive the masses. The dictatorship of the proletariat and revolutionary peasantry, on the other hand, is an open dictatorship, a dictatorship of the masses, which has no need to resort to deception in home affairs or to secret diplomacy in foreign affairs. But it follows that our bourgeois dictators will strive to solve the most vital problems of the country, the questions of war and peace, for example, behind the backs of the masses, without the masses, by means of a conspiracy against the masses. Oh, so there you go. We could wrap it up right here, actually, because by they're not even talking about the same things then.
The meaning of authoritarianism is. They all exist through monopolization of some flow of power by a small body of holders, and they utilize violence, coercion, and deception at their core. So here, second thought.
There you go. That does not describe the dictatorship of the proletariat. Thank you, Stalin. Good night. You thought you had it so.
Kind of lays out a summary of what he's going to do in the video.
Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the video. First, we'll look at the list of objections as understood by liberals. And I mean that in the broadest sense. Liberals as in subjects of liberal states, not in the conservative versus liberal sense. Then we'll look at those same objections as understood by the left. Again, pretty broadly speaking. Basically everyone from social democrats and beyond. Then finally, we'll consider a better way to understand authority and authoritarianism. Sound good?
So he starts with the liberals, and I think there's some validity to what he's pointing out here, which is that liberals like to talk a lot about authoritarianism as it occurs in state capitalist nations like the USSR or China.
And we're already there. Like state capitalist nations. State capitalist nations. That's what I'm thinking, Powerful Finger. Like, what the fuck? Like USSR or China. This face is just perfect for the fucking state capitalist part of this video. Like,
about authoritarianism as it occurs in state capitalist nations like the USSR or China or North Korea.
Yeah, all that fucking all of that goddamn capitalism in DPRK, right? I love how he also, of course, uses the name North Korea because racist white. I'm just chalking it up to that at this point. I'm fucking done. If you're a leftist and you still refer to them as like North Korea in parliament, I don't give you much fucking credence. Fuck that. Lenin did call NEP state capitalism. Yes, yes, powerful finger. That's true. He did call it state capitalism. However, this is the difference between um, state capitalism as this person is using it and state capitalism as Lenin and Stalin used it is that he's using state capitalism to mean a separate form of social order that essentially is capitalism, but now controlled by a party bureaucracy instead, a new bourgeois class called the party bureaucracy. Whereas Lenin and Stalin use state capitalism as a term to be a strategy used by the socialist state whereby certain concessions are made to the capitalist classes without conceding state power to them. Because state power, of course, is the main thing that allows the proletariat to maintain development of a proletarian state and hang on to the revolution. The economy is guaranteed by state power, right? Which is like the reason why you have to sometimes make concessions to certain sections of the former bourgeoisie until you can consolidate even more tightly the support of the masses, the trust of the masses, and then you can more militantly fight against those concessions. You can close up those concessions. And I mean, you can really compare this to what happens in a capitalist state as well. And what happens. Oh, no, I know you're not powerful. I'm just explaining to everybody. This is what state capitalism is, right? And you can compare state capitalism to what capitalist states do, which is they give certain concessions to the working class in the form of certain social wage things in order to squash fundamental demands for revolutionary change, for a reorganization of society, right? In order to cool down the demands and the actions for revolution, they will give they will give some concessions to the working class. And then when labor is weakened, then they can close those concessions back up again. The point is that the capital stays in control of the state. Well, it's just the opposite of that, right? Yeah. So, state capitalism, as we understand it, is not the same as what this person is using it for here. This person is using it in a racist way, essentially, to say these places say they're socialist, but they're really not. They're really trying to fool me that they're socialist. And their own population, who, of course, doesn't know any better because I infantilize people. That these countries, North Korea, fucking DPRK, China, USSR, Vietnam, all of these places are going to lie about being socialist, bringing down the wrath of the empire on them just to fool some fucking Westerners. Like, okay. And I feel like this kind of analysis just like downplays the actual violence and the fucking like the actual like pressure that imperialists try to put on all of these nations. I feel like it sort of like downplays all of that, you know?
But almost all of those features exist within places like the United States or the UK or many places in Europe. In fact, sometimes to a much worse degree. So actually, I think second thought is correct to make this critique, but I do think that all it really boils down to is what's called an argument from hypocrisy. As an example of the argument from hypocrisy, it might be that, you find somebody murdering somebody, they've just finished killing someone or murdering them. And, you say, whoa.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand it, not being sarcastic. If the state engages in economic relationships with capitalist nations, that is somehow anti-communist? That's the messaging I was getting? No. No, that's not what I was saying at all. I'm saying that your state sometimes has to make concessions to your formerly existing capitalist class in your own state. Oh, from them? No, he's simply stating that these places are state capitalists. Because he's not worried about communism. He's worried about anarchism, you see. Yeah, a capitalist state with co-ops too. I guess
you can't do that. Murder is wrong. And they say, well, you just murdered somebody last week. Murder didn't become okay because the person who was accusing them of it committed the same crime last week, right? It doesn't matter who does it. It's not good. The argument from hypocrisy is
both sides,
fallacious.
Comrades. Both sides. Both sides bad. Don't you see? North DPRK bad, but also USA bad too.
That is to say,
yeah, the co-ops are anarchism, or like having your own commune and farming some land. That's doing an anarchism. You can't organize into a state because that would be doing a statism, an authoritarianism.
Doesn't really matter if the opponent is doing it as well. It doesn't become okay as soon as the opponent is doing it. So it's not valid to say that liberal democracies are also authoritarian. It doesn't really serve in any way to address the concerns of people who are concerned with authoritarianism broadly. It doesn't really address the concerns of anarchists or libertarian socialists when they talk about the concept of authoritarianism, as had been discussed previously. We can see that this concept of authoritarianism, which I set up just a minute ago, is actually still valid in all of these examples, right? Yes, they're occurring in liberal democracies. That's because liberal democracies are also authoritarian.
Jesus Christ. I like how we just I like how the defaultness. I like how the default position is, yes, of course bad things are happening in DPRK and these other places, but what about this other one? Hey, how do you build a system highly prepared to prevent being smeared by reactionaries who enroll in state apparatus security services to make terror crimes? Good fucking question. But right there, this part right here actually is addressed on authority, right? Again, it's like they never actually they actually never read the shit. Why do anti-authoritarians not confine themselves to crying out against political authority, the state? All socialists are agreed that the political state, and with it political authority, will disappear as a result of the common social revolution. That is, that public functions will lose their political character and will be transformed into the simple administrative functions and watching over the true interests of society. But the anti-authoritarians demand that the political state be abolished at one stroke, even before the social conditions that gave birth to it have been destroyed. They demand that the first act of the social revolution shall be the abolition of authority. Have these gentlemen never seen a revolution? A revolution is certainly the most authoritarian thing there is. It is the act whereby one part of the population imposes its will upon the other part by means of rifles, bayonets, cannon, authoritarian means, if such there will be at all. And if the victorious party does not want to have fought in vain, it would maintain this rule by means of the terror which its arms inspire in the reactionaries. Would the Paris Commune have lasted a single day if it had not made use of this authority of the armed people against the bourgeois? Should we not, on the contrary, reproach it for not having used it freely enough? Anarchism is literally when you're stapling. I don't see states. Yeah. Yes, Rojava has a militia and is working actively with the CIA and has objectively multiple hierarchies, but because they don't call them hierarchies nor call them at state, it's anarchist actually. Yep. Heard this argument lately that people who are self-employed is the way to fix everything bad with capitalism. If everyone were to do that, then we'll have no solidarity with people working on the same workplaces even, and our society would be even more selfish and greedy. That's dystopian as shit. I can't even imagine.
Also, in this section, Second Thought points out that a lot of this distortion arises because of Red Scare propaganda, or more appropriately, the propaganda of Western capitalist nations against places like the USSR and China and so on. I'll just concede openly that that's absolutely the case. That is 100% true. And a lot of people's distorted perceptions of what's taken place in all of these projects is 100% because of Western propaganda. Another thing I want to note is that he spends 10 minutes giving examples of how liberal democracies are also authoritarian, or what I would say is traditional bourgeois democracies
are also authoritarian. Traditional bourgeois democracies, aside from the exotic bourgeois democracy of DPRK and the like, I guess,
are also authoritarian. That's a lot of the runtime of this video. We might want to take that as some indication that this video was not really meant for leftists, that it was more meant for liberals to watch, but the video really...
I get some bad news about anarchists, my guy. Okay, I got some bad news about anarchism. It's liberalism.
Emphasizes.
Again, there's many anarchists who are very much leftist in their thinking, but anarchism as a philosophy is not left. You see, things that are on the left are things that threaten imperialism and colonialism.
Later on,
at a fundamental
work
level.
by Engels, on authority, and this work was not written to liberals, so the video kind of has a little bit of a scatterbrained approach. It doesn't seem to quite know who its intended audience is.
It was a
and I think what it's
of many
really
parties.
Trying to do as a net here is it's trying to convince everyone that authoritarianism doesn't exist,
I'm right there with
and
you, Jay.
that it's not a problem even if
through
it
this whole
does
video.
exist. So here we begin the leftist section, as he calls it. We're about 15 minutes through the video by the time we get to it. And this is really where the problems of the video compound. Most of the criticisms that he was making about liberals were absolutely true. And liberals have this extreme blind spot in a...
Yeah, he described the whole thesis wrong. He also, as I said, we're at 12:06. He also, as I said back here, he showed us JT, the definition that JT was working with here, right? But JT was starting to criticize this definition. And he sort of cut him off and instead said, well, instead of whatever definition JT was about to give us, and instead of this definition, the definition he's actually going to be working with instead is is this definition right here. So he's not even now anymore working on the same definition. They're on completely different subjects, in other words, essentially.
True. And liberals have this extreme blind spot in a general sense about how authoritarian that the very systems they propose actually are. However, here I think he begins to expose that he really does not have any understanding of the leftist conception of authoritarianism and what the actual critiques are to begin with. He also, starting from here, does a huge amount of apologia for state capitalism and for authoritarianism in a general sense for solving problems.
Okay, that's the liberal part.
Here we go. Yeah.
Taken care of.
Rapid.
Now it's time to have a little chat with my friends on the Western left. The right does a very good job at presenting a unified front. The capitalist class and the forces of reaction are incredibly powerful in the imperial core. The left is already on the back foot, and we have been for many, many years. This is why it's frankly absurd how much infighting goes on among the left.
Here we can see that second thought considers any sort of criticism of authoritarian systems as being an example of like leftist infighting, as he calls it. He says that we need to provide a unified front against the capitalists. And this is a very old talking point for authoritarians. And this is because authoritarians want everyone to march behind them. Right? They want to create a unified constituency, which essentially acts as a big labor army that they can then exploit when they create their states.
That's what we want. That's true. That's exactly what we're all fighting for, right, comrades? Isn't that, Bob? Isn't that what you want? Huh? Right, Bob? That's what you want, isn't it? He just described exactly what you want. NTC, that's what you want? You don't want the end of all oppression. You want a small constituency to exploit and withhold your come from.
A unified constituency, which essentially acts as a big labor army that they can then exploit when they create their states. Their states are then essentially going to do capitalism, and they are going to justify why they're doing capitalism as that it is somehow in one way or another necessary. And that is the majority.
That they're going to do capitalism. There's like no actual like explanation saying it just says they're going to do capitalism. Just that's it. They're gonna do capitalism, everybody. They're essentially going to do capitalism. Thanks for that very descriptive, informative fucking definition that you
for
just gave.
Authoritarians. And this is because authoritarians want everyone to march behind them. Right? They want to create a unified constituency, which essentially acts as a big labor army that they can then exploit when they create their states. Their states are then essentially going to do capitalism, and they are going to justify why they're doing capitalism as that it is somehow in one way or another necessary. And that is the majority of what we see in this section. Second thought is really just arguing every single thing that's been done by state socialism is absolutely necessary, and that we should all just follow behind it because we need to have a unified front. I think another thing that really annoys me about
the fucking caucasity of this person. Please, would you please then list some things that what is not necessary? Now it's state socialism, by the way, instead of state capitalism. So now we get a whole different definition that we're working with. Actually, wait. Hold on a second. I seem to remember somebody else addressing this very word here. I just love that I'm using this particular thing here. The term state socialism is inexact. Many people take this term to mean the system under which a certain part of the wealth, sometimes a fairly considerable part, passes into the hand of the state or under its control, while in the overwhelming majority of cases, the works, factories, and land remain the property of private persons. This is what many people take state socialism to mean. Sometimes this term covers a system under which the capitalist state, in order to prepare for or wage war, runs a certain number of private enterprises at its own expense. The society which we have built cannot possibly be called state socialism. Our Soviet society is socialist society. Because the private ownership of the factories, works, the land, the banks, and the transport system has been abolished, and public ownership put in its place. The social organization which we have created may be called a Soviet socialist organization, not entirely completed, but fundamentally a socialist organization of society. This handsome mother trucker right here. Oh, this guy just seems like he knows what he's talking about here. Meanwhile, this person is just talking with their fucking eyes closed, telling us how socialist state's bad too, actually. Oh, Sebs, you can't have any vertical lines.
Is absolutely necessary, and that we should.
Everything done by socialist states is absolutely necessary as far as you're concerned. You motherfuck. Seriously, was it what? Give me, like, this is why I'm saying, like, give me a specific example. Like what? Like DPRK organizing an army that was capable of fighting back against the U.S. fucking committing genocide against 20% of their goddamn fucking population? Cuba organizing an army to fight against the Bay of Pigs invasion. Vietnam organizing an army so that it can fight against the invasion. I wonder if there's any sort of pattern that's going on here that necessitates socialist states to act in a militant, hierarchical way. No, I actually can't imagine.
Should all just follow behind it because we need to have a unified front.
Hell yeah,
I think
Rob.
another thing that really annoys me about this section is that he continually says that this anti-authoritarian impulse, that, you know, anarchism or libertarian socialism, that these are Western impulses and that this only really exists in the West.
Yeah, pretty much does. Yeah. The way that you're doing it with this decrying these other places as being state capitalist and that not everything they've done is necessary to fight against the West, that is Western. That's Western as shit. It's purely Western. It's the most Western thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's what it is.
And I think this is one of the most deceptive talking points in the entire video. I think it's the one that he should be walking back
I'm gonna get
the
real
most.
controversial here
It
in about
really
a minute.
serves to erase enormous numbers of people who have struggled as
You're gonna
anarchists.
tokenize? Who are you gonna tokenize? Let's see. Who do you think he's gonna... Oh, I almost closed the fucking window. Who do you think is gonna tokenize here, comrades? I want you to... give me a 1 for First Nations, a 2 for the Zapatistas, a 3 for Rojava, a 4 for which one? Who do you think he's gonna appropriate here? Who do you think he's gonna tokenize? Maybe African communities? Who do you think? Let's see. Oh, he's definitely going for a marginalized group here.
And for libertarian socialism across the planet who weren't in the West. Another thing that annoys me here is that...
Oh, okay. He's going to be real broad with it. He's going to get real broad with it. That weren't in the West. Guess you can't name any, though. Weird how that is.
He continues to claim that authoritarianism only gets applied as a label to quote-unquote successful projects.
Funnily enough, the label authoritarian is only ever applied to successful socialist projects. The ones that failed were somehow more pure. But the moment a new system takes steps to ensure the security of their people and their new project, they're labeled authoritarian.
But he doesn't really tell us what success is. And that's really one of the big problems here, is that anarchists and libertarian socialists don't consider it success to just create capitalism again, right? We're not trying to carry out a revolution and then just have capitalism. That's not success in the minds of revolutionaries. That's only success if you're a sort of a militant reformist. And in every example that he's citing here, they're all capitalist. Most of them are state capitalist, which is to say the state becomes the new bourgeois. But in all of the examples, they're capitalist.
Excuse me. You see, and this is what I was saying before about this is an expression of like some white main character syndrome. This is an expression of white main character syndrome, and I'll explain to you why again. Okay. First of all, the state is the new bourgeoisie. What the fuck? Love said hi, Mrs. Larry. Hi, bud. Put your head up. You gotta lift your head up, girl. Lift your head up. There you go. Buggy. Gotta lift it up. Lift it up. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. It's trouble knowing to keep her head up. I don't know if it's heavy for her or what. Toto was driven in Rolls Royce and lived in mansions when he died. His wife got a small apartment, his kids got everything. His kids didn't get anything. Who is the state? Who does the state work for? Well, according to this person, itself. It's the new bourgeoisie. Powerful. I guess that I'm guessing in terms of like DPRK or Cuba, he means Fidel, right? Which, of course, gets down into that. Gets down into this bullshit. So he basically falls for this shit where he thinks Kim Jong-un has a net worth of $5 billion fucking dollars. You know. Compared to Mike Pompeo's measly 800,000. What? Yeah, she's high as shit. Oh god, no. No, don't take the thing seriously, it's just hilarious. I'm just killing time because we're on an ad. Okay, I wanted to hear what he said here again. They only have multiple pairs of clothes, it's true. Bourgeois confirmed.
All capitalist. Most of them are state capitalist, which is to say the state becomes the new bourgeois. Consider it success to just create capitalism again, right? We're not trying to carry out a is. And that's really one of the big problems here, is that anarchists and libertarian socialists don't consider it success.
Anarchists and libertarian socialists don't consider it success
to just create capitalism again, right? We're not trying to.
And that's why to me it's like they're potential comrades, but this shit right here is like some purity main character bullshit because you're like you're acting like DPRK or Cuba is gonna call themselves socialist, bring down upon it the wrath of the empire to fool what? You or who? I don't fucking get that. Like, just like simply thinking about it makes it make no sense at all. Why would they do that? Why would they bring down the wrath of the empire on them just to lie about being socialist and keep being capitalist when if they were just openly capitalist, that would be they wouldn't have to fucking fight against like empire like they are essentially, right? Bug's now stuck underneath there. Bug, come this way, Bug. Bug, you're out of control. Yeah, exactly. Exactly powerful. And that's why I say it like gets into this like weird chauvinistic shit where it's like, oh, Cuba should have just continued under Batista. They essentially just continued capitalism. It's not a success, actually. Cuba throwing out that dictator, not a success. Korea fighting against a genocidal war by imperialists, yeah, nah, that actually is not a success. Building a country where everybody has housing, healthcare, clothing, education. Now, actually, not a success. Imagine the caucasity.
Carry out a revolution and then just have capitalism. That's not success in
Yes, that's what they did. They carried out a revolution and then just had capitalism. That's how it works.
the minds of revolutionaries. That's only success if you're a sort of a militant reformist. And in every example that he's citing here, they're all capitalist. Most of them are state capitalist.
I got another great quote I'll dig up.
Which is to say the state becomes the new bourgeois. But in all of the examples, they're capitalist. There are no non-capitalist examples he gives. So what he considers success is essentially what has been said to be many times as red capitalism, right? He just wants capitalism with a coat of red paint.
Imagine the fucking insult. Like just the pure caucasity of this is fucking incredible to me. Oh, all they did, they didn't actually fight back against fucking imperialist and colonial fucking conditions. No, they just threw a coat of red paint on everything and called it a day. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. State socialism, the system that did not work, provided everyone with some measure of security. Free market capitalism, the system that works, brought a free-falling economy, financial plunder, deteriorating social conditions, and mass suffering. The pure socialists had a vision of a new society that would create and be created by a new people. A society so transformed in its fundamentals as to leave little opportunity for wrongful acts, corruption, and criminal abuses of state power. There would be no bureaucracy or self-interested coteries, no ruthless conflicts or hurtful decisions. When the reality proves different and more difficult, some on the left proceed to condemn the real thing and announce that they feel betrayed by this or that revolution.
And he considers that successful. What he's doing with that is he is erasing the existence of projects that the people he is critiquing do consider successful and they don't consider authoritarian.
Name one.
So examples might be Rojava, which is the Kurdish national liberation movement taking place in northeast Syria, the Zapatistas, which is a national liberation movement taking place in the Chiapas district of Mexico. And historically, there are examples such as the C&T-FAI during the Spanish Civil War and the Free Territories of Ukraine, which took place right after the October Revolution in Russia, the existence of the Shinmin Commune. These were all successful.
Just he just hit every like Western like every like fucking everything. None of them fucking none of them actually are an example. Not one of those things is an example. Okay, let's just quickly go over it. So Rojava, especially the YPJ that these guys are always going on about, have been co-opted by the West and are used as a means to destabilize Syria and allow the US to continue stealing oil from Syria. So that's the Kurdish. That's what he's
movement
talking
taking
about
place
here.
in northeast Syria.
Like, of course, he's talking about something that works with the West in order to destabilize an actual like anti-imperialist struggle that is ongoing.
The Zapatistas, which
And the Zapatistas, they literally have asked people multiple times to stop calling them anarchist. Literally have written articles to say stop calling us anarchist. But sure, keep appropriating them.
is a national liberation movement taking place in the Chiapas district of Mexico. And historically, there are examples such as the C&T FAI during the Spanish.
And again, the CNTF, that is just one group that fought during the Spanish War, even in that area, and they weren't anarchists. There was anarchists in the coalition, but it wasn't led by anarchists by any fucking means. Not even close. So again, none of these examples is actually an example.
And the Free Territories of Ukraine.
And the Free Territories of Ukraine were actually just a bunch of murderous bandits. Oh, sorry, racist murderous bandits. My bad. I forgot. Remember how I told you Trotsky had this like Western like sort of colonial opinion? Yeah, exactly, powerful. Yeah. Catalonia worked like every state. But remember I told you like Trotsky had this opinion like they are Westerner, they were the civilized, like the goddamn free territories of Ukraine were literally like committing pogroms against fucking Jewish people. They were fucking killing anybody they deemed they were a serious menace, besides directly attacking the Red Army as well.
Which took place right after the October Revolution.
Just look at the history of Makhno and like, yeah, not good. If it's a serious red flag if you're praising Makhno. Like seriously. I'll have to dig up the article I have on it here, powerful. I had a really good one that went into like the banditry and stuff that they engaged in. See if I can dig it up for you all.
In Russia, the existence of the Shinmin Commune. These were all successful in the sense that they made progress towards socialism or communism, which is the goal of anarchists and libertarian socialists. So what he's doing is he's categorically creating an equivalence between success and
I can't find much. Fuck the demagogues! There is one that's from I'm in trouble finding that same link.
establishing state capitalism. And at
There's
the
some
same
other ones,
time,
though, like,
he's
if you
erasing
search
all
it up,
examples of
there is some other
success
ones, like,
that
from,
don't exactly
University of Manitoba or Winnipeg, I see right here. Murder committed against German colonists. That's what he was charged with. Murdering German colonists who were moved into the area, like.
fit that conception, which is very insulting if it's not ignorant. That is to say, either he is insulting all of these projects, he's discounting them,
None of those projects are
or
anarchist.
he just doesn't know about them, in which case it doesn't speak well to his knowledge of left theory and history and the real existence of a
What a
revolutionary
dishonest
impulse throughout
fucking
history.
argument.
I
you
think
just
part
made.
of this is that there's a lack of understanding among Western self-professed leftists regarding what it actually takes to change the status quo across an entire country. Every revolution, including bourgeois revolutions like the American one, are authoritarian by default.
This claim that you need authoritarian methods to succeed both falls flat on its face because he's not really engaging with an academic conception of the word authoritarianism, nor the
You just said not to use dictionary definitions, so now your particular definition is apparently an academic definition, which again is this: the degree to which. Oh no, sorry, that's domination. His definition was the degree to which power structure monopolizes control over the total social impetus of some power.
succeeding and something reestablishing capitalism, which is all that's ever happened in any of the examples he could point to. The USSR, China, North Korea, Cuba, authoritarian,
Bourgeois revolutions.
and the real existence of a revolutionary impulse throughout history.
I think part of this is that there's a lack of understanding among Western self-professed leftists regarding what it actually takes to change the status quo across an entire country.
This is probably
Every revolution, including bourgeois revolutions like the American one, are authoritarian by default.
This claim that you need authoritarian methods to succeed both falls flat on its face because he's not really engaging with an academic conception of the word authoritarianism, nor the usage of this word among leftists who he is supposedly trying to speak to here, but also because, once again...
Well, of course, because you see Seb's DPRK and these ones that he's listing are the ones that are most propagandized and weaponized against us.
Again, he sort of just created this equality between something succeeding and something reestablishing capitalism, which is all that's ever happened in any of the examples he could point to. The USSR, China, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, any of these examples just became capitalism within very, very short order.
I think that's just...
So here we see that he just basically thinks that the authoritarian method is the only one that works.
No, you're just racist and you think that no fucking actual revolution has actually... You completely ignore every revolutionary thing and co-opt things that you think are as acceptable as being anarchist when none of them were. Too fucking hilarious. Too funny. You know what we're gonna you know what we're gonna have to do here. Okay.
And he basically seems to be implying that anybody that is not an authoritarian, any project that has not used authoritarian methods, whether it continues to exist to this day or not, is just an invalid attempt. That anybody who's not using the method that he advocates, that they're sort of like childish and ignorant. But I think the worst part about this is that he actually seems to have no idea these things exist, right? And that's really weird because a lot of these are very public projects. You know, the Zapatistas and Rojava are extremely...
All right. he's just continuing into like appropriate things that aren't actually
well known.
anarchists again.
So
yeah, blah blah blah. Let's see.
What is he talking about? You know, what does he think that anarchists and libertarian socialists actually want? So now he's claiming every revolution is authoritarian. And this is pretty obvious setup for what's about to come.
To understand the nature of revolution a little better, let's go back to the man himself. No, the other one. His sugar daddy. There we go. Friedrich Engels. This large beard wrote a brilliant little piece called On Authority. It's like a page long. None of you have any excuse not to read it. It's linked below. But here's the part that I think is most applicable to this video. Have these gentlemen ever seen a revolution? A revolution is certainly the most authoritarian thing there is. It is the act whereby one part of the population imposes its will upon the other part by means of rifles, bayonets, and cannon. Authoritarian means, if such there be at all. And if the victorious party does not want to have fought in vain, it must maintain this rule by means of the terror which its arms inspire in the reactionists. Would the Paris Commune have lasted a single day if it had not made use of this authority of the armed people against the bourgeois? Should we not, on the contrary, reproach it for not having used it really enough? Therefore, either one of two things. Either the anti-authoritarians don't know what they're talking about, in which case they're creating nothing but confusion, or they do know, and in that case they are betraying the movement of the proletariat. In either case, they serve the reaction.
And here's what we've been waiting for the entire time, because his entire erroneous understanding of authoritarianism actually comes from a really bad essay written by Engels called On Authority. This essay has essentially served as a thought-terminating cliche for the authoritarian left ever since Engels published it. It's essentially an excuse for them to do absolutely no structural analysis of how power functions.
If a mass of people decide they're done with the current oppressive system, rise up, build something new, and then fail to...
No understanding of how power functions, even though...
Let's go. Smokes.
It's funny you say that because he's just worked... The whole premise of the video is working with a whole different fucking... A whole incorrect understanding of what that actually means. And thank you so much, Bob.
Protect the gains they've made, their project will be destroyed. We've seen it many times throughout history. The reactionary elements in society won't go away.
So he really focuses in on Engels' quote about revolution and the use of force as being authoritarian. However, as I already defined authoritarian, which was earlier in the video, this really doesn't land at all.
However, because I redefined authoritarian, it doesn't land at all. Fuck off. That's right, take a good fucking hard look at the fucking picture. I'm getting a fucking nail. Oh my god, yeah. Hash. So many more communists than anarchists, honestly. And look, there is decolonial anarchists and decolonial thinkers that obviously I would work with even before some Western people who describe themselves as MLs. But no, anarchism
the revolution that
generally
feeds the children gets my support.
Anarchism, generally speaking, if we're talking about the philosophical basis and the philosophical contributions, it's generally the West, right? And that's why it's so popular in the West. Yeah, worldwide, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, just think about India itself, right? How many fucking think about how many communists, like, are just in one country. And even in the Russian Revolution, anarchists did not play any sort of significant part in revolutionary movement if we're being real, in USSR. Like Kropotkin, etc. They never played, like, a major role in anything to do with revolution. Yep, that's where the split comes from, sis. Anti-Semitism. Generally speaking. why you drank all my Coke now. Yeah, that's what Bakunin's whole split with Marx was that Bakunin thought Marx was trying to make an anti-Semitic global. The same anti-Semitic shit we hear like still today. That's what Bakunin thought about Marx, basically. Not sectarianism, it's ideological struggle. If people take that personally, that's on them, you know? I think at this point. Regardless of what labels you use. Yeah, when Marx was actually giving an analysis from a Jewish description of it. See, that's sort of where my link came from, Bob. Or that's sort of where my whole thing came from, but this one I actually made myself. I also have you go to Facebook here. One of my things is this is my page. Hey, look, 6.9 likes. Nice. 6.9 thousand likes. Nice. This was my meme page. Oh. I like that one. Oh yeah. Oh, I hear people say that all the time. There you go. Here's a hard to swallow pill for some people, apparently. By the way, Sebs, I replied to you in the Discord messages. I like this one. Here we go. Another perfect one for this. That face when your country lost 5 million people in a foreign invasion just a few decades earlier, rebuilt after every single building was leveled, had higher living standards than your southern neighbor backed by the wealthiest countries on the world for decades, lost her strongest allies, recovered from famine caused by flood, became the most sanctioned nation on the planet, are almost completely encircled by hostile countries who want to see you wipe and still manage to hold the state together, but communists living inside the countries who want to destroy yours whine that the DPRK doesn't meet their pure standards of a classless, stateless, full communist society. True, it's true, Sebs.
Long live the People's Revolution!
This is an old school meme one here. Oh yeah, don't worry. I got lots of banger leftist memes, Frank. I got lots of the classics. It's funny seeing some of these old ones here.
Long live the People's Revolution!
Bob, thank you. What the heck? Another 100 biddies? Thank you so much, comrade. Appreciate that. I like this one too. Are you a libertarian or authoritarian? Idealist that you are, you don't understand that all revolutions are authoritarian. A state will always arise as a byproduct of class society as one class imposes dictatorship on the other. Will you fight or will you aid the reaction like a dog?
Long live the People's Revolution!
Rylan, thank you, comrade. Appreciate that for the 100 biddies. Goddamn. Thank you, comrades. A golden kappa train? What the fuck is that? A golden kappa train is close.
Long live the People's Revolution!
What the hell? Oh shit, a golden kappa train. What the fuck?
Get in there. Taxi's boss car is full of weed just like this, okay?
Okay.
Jacob, you're in control.
And we don't have hype trains
Boys,
here.
is
We
it? Let's
have
fucking move
Swayze
it. Boys, I got the
Expresses.
Swayze Express.
Good. Load it in the car. We gotta hook up with Sebastian in 6 hours.
The whole world's searching for that train, you idiots. You won't even make it to Shitville.
We don't have hype trains on this channel. We have Swayze Expresses. That video, didn't it? Was it the memes? No worries, no worries. No worry about that. Was it the memes? Is that what did it? I like that because it's just such an easy way to put it. Hey, you should have a golden kappa. Said 24 hours for golden kappa. Better give you don't don't make me write Twitch an angry letter. I'll do it. Do it, Sam. Don't worry. Tell them Sam needs his golden kappa right now. Oh yeah, this is another good one. Western leftists. Oh, I think we have a special guest. Hello, Sebs.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, all anarchists are fascists. Thank you very much.
Thank
you for
you
coming
very
to my
much.
talk. Well,
Yep.
only the white ones, but
Yeah, I mean there's a whole
that is
there's of
occurring.
course a whole complexity there when dealing, but anarchism is like the European ideology. Let's say we're talking about.
All anarchists are bastards.
There you go. Oh yeah, Zizek. We watched a thing with Zizek earlier and it wasn't good. Like, I don't know why we have to keep reminding people that Zizek was like one of the intellectuals that was like cheering on the overthrow of USSR essentially.
Isn't he like Yugoslav?
What?
Isn't he from Yugoslavia?
Yeah, but he was writing about it like he was like one of these intellectuals that's like writing about.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he's still like, I mean, as we saw earlier in the clip, he's still like very like militantly anti-Russian. Like, you know, well, the clip that we watched earlier, he was saying how he as a leftist believes that we should just give nuclear weapons to Ukraine.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
Oh, Slovenian.
and he also did, you know, your usual Islamic phobia bullshit. Like that
Yeah,
one.
but like I like his videos and he's funny, so think about it.
No, I will not. I will not think about it. I refuse.
Yeah, but like he has a movie where like he critiques the US and says US bad, so like I don't know.
So he's got to be
I
pretty
think
good,
things
right?
are I think things kind of balance themselves out because he once did a joke that I thought was funny, so
Yeah. Or he was just even correct about a few things. That's how some people like to like excuse their, like, you can be critical of something and still watch it, like we were saying all the time about media, right? Like,
yeah, like look, Hitler might have done a few bad things, but he said 1 plus 1 is 2, so was he totally incorrect?
yeah,
Think about it.
exactly. I mean that is the attitude we get. I like this because this is what
Really?
this picture right here is exactly what I felt like watching that video.
Oh, if only I could see the picture.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
There. This picture reminds me of watching that video. Anarchists serving up some hot anti-communist propaganda.
Literally.
Just no, I'm not having that. That's what that whole video just felt like. Because again, like the whole, I feel like this is the premise of like every anarchist argument. Like it ends up being, they'll say about this, they'll even like watch you talk about benefits and things that socialist states have given people and like huge gains that they've won, and then they'll turn around and say, well, they just reinstituted socialism.
It is because I feel like, especially in the US, people have been groomed to think that anything that the government can do is bad. So
Yeah.
they cannot conceptualize that governments across the world, being socialist or capitalist, are able to provide with their people with things that benefit them. So they just think, oh no, government bad, all hierarchy is bad, so they default to anarchism.
Which is funny because you might have missed this part, but just listen to this term that he uses in the beginning of this video, okay, Sebs?
Okay.
I want you to hear this term that he uses.
Got another donation from Matt Foos. Matt is getting at it this time. Matt says, what, in your opinion, generally prevents SOCDEM, socialists, and communists from becoming anarchists? It's what I mentioned earlier, what I call hierarchical realism. And
hierarchical realism. That's that's what prevents us communists from becoming anarchist. It's just I just found this term so fucking hilarious, like hierarchical realism. Like okay. And the other interesting thing that I was saying about this is, like, from my experience, almost everyone I knew who's like a scientific socialist, or at least a significant number of them who's a scientific socialist today, like went through like an anarchist period almost.
Yeah, and even then, like, I would always like question, because like when I first encountered anarchism, look, I can shit on anarchists because I was an anarchist once. So
hey, so was I. I called myself an ANCOM and everything.
Yeah. I remember thinking like, not being sure if like all hierarchy is bad, but then like you justify it because you think, oh yeah, but like only unjust hierarchies, right? Because I would always think about how like I would always be like the leader in my group projects in school or university, and I always thought like, yeah, but like I never was like a dictator or like oppressed my my group mates. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I always listened to them. I never like ordered them around. I always like asked them what they wanted to do. Like,
well, and that's why
my own dick, but I was a good leader. But yeah, and I was like, but that's a hierarchy, and that's not bad,
right? And that's why like in his last video, I was like saying, like, by his own, okay, because he like redefined what he meant by like hierarchy and stuff, it didn't end up applying to like what a socialist state is organized like. So
yeah,
so like because he says about deception and this other stuff, right? But like that, a deception in a socialist society will only get you so far before you divorce yourself from the masses, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why people don't understand that, like, despite all the flaws that China might have, they're still fundamentally a socialist society because they are still working for all the benefit of the working class. They are still working for the interest of the working class and not working for the interest of the capitalists.
And the working class, most importantly, is in control of the state.
Yeah.
They have direct control of the state and the state policy. So it doesn't make any sense to say
literally.
And that's why it makes no sense to say that there's like that the party or the state becomes a new bourgeois class. That doesn't make, it literally makes no sense. So you're saying
especially because China has so many mechanisms where like people can automatically like remove people from power. Like you only need like 20 people to remove an elected official, or even like people as high as Xi Jinping. So like, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's the same like in DPRK. That's why I was actually saying earlier, like Kim Jong Un actually kind of has like a job I imagine not a lot of people would want to do, and that's why like Kim Il Sung's brother like never got into like politics and stuff because it's like you're in the like people think like of course if you believe he's a dictator and he gets to just like lounge around and do nothing all day, sure you fool yourself, right? But he actually like has a job that he's got to do, and if he like is for whatever reason seen as not doing his job, he just removed from power, and who knows, like you never know, like that's a dangerous place to be in if you think about it. And not everybody would want that like on themselves. Because like Stalin, like for example, someone that tried to step down 4 times, but it just accepted every time they said no, you can't step down.
I once mentioned that in a Suck Them chat, and they said that he was just pretending that he wanted to get out of power in order to cause more like sympathy for himself. And I was like, the level of delusion.
Perhaps my favorite lie that I've ever heard is like, I wonder if I just type in. Yeah, okay. The one of the funniest lies I ever heard, it was like taking footage from this speech right here, right?
And changing the subtitles.
There was no subtitles, but it was just showing like footage of this, and it was like when he stopped talking, the crowd was expected to applause, and the first person to stop clapping, better look out. So nobody would want to stop clapping because he might murder you if you did. Yeah. And then it's funny because when you actually watch the speech, he's like talking about the fraternal friendship with the other like parties and socialist organizations that are looking to them as like a model and an example going forward. Like, it's too hilarious. I think this is Enver Hoxha right here, by the way.
Oh my god.
Okay, so anyway, I thought it was. Okay, so now look, let's look at what he's gonna define this hierarchical realism as. I think you'll enjoy.
Oh my god,
this.
you've been doing a marathon of him.
I did, I know.
This is kind of related.
It's a perfect example because I mean, it doesn't matter if it's him or somebody else.
Yeah.
They all have the same outlook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is because they're taking from an old European philosophy called anarchism. I've read the anarchist books, you know? So, and this is funny because I do see other people in the comments too who are like, I've been using this word for years. Yeah, here it is. I've been using this term for years. I'm glad to see others have caught on.
Like hierarchical realism? Oh my god.
Yeah, sure you did, bud. Sure you did. Okay, listen, this is too funny. Oh yes, I've heard about that cookbook, Hash. When I was in high school, we'd like look it up.
What is called capitalist realism. Mark Fisher wrote a book called Capitalist Realism. And capitalist realism is the belief that the only system which can exist is capitalism, essentially. That we are at the end of history. There is nothing beyond capitalism. And I use this phrase hierarchical realism to refer to a similar concept, but for hierarchy. The belief that hierarchy is the only way to organize society, that there is no future wherein we can have a non-hierarchical society, that hierarchy is optimal, it is the best, there's no moving past it.
I mean, I just want to say that Marxist, like, scientific socialists don't necessarily think that there is no possibility of this in the future necessarily. Yeah. It's just that we realize that we can't just like push the switch and be there now.
But also, even then, when you confront anarchists and you ask them how they would organize, they reply with like horizontal hierarchies, and it's like it's hierarchy still literally in your word, in your like verbiage, like you're still like pro hierarchies. Like I like even this concept of like hierarchical realism doesn't even apply for anarchists because they will say, oh, we use horizontal hierarchies, and it's like, okay, that's still fucking hierarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly. They just changed the wording of something basically, and that's why I say like the communism that communists fight for and the anarchism that anarchists sometimes fight for are kind of like two different conceptions, right? Like we want a stateless, classless society, and then they want sometimes this like idealistic utopian imagining of like no hierarchy at all or something. Which, like, for me, even in a classless, stateless society, I have a hard time imagining, like, you know, a Star Trek type society and not have any hierarchy at all. Like, you know?
yeah.
Like, I think even in communist society, forms of hierarchy are necessary. It's just they're accountable to the masses.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
it was just my door frame,
look,
Bob. Don't worry.
I've had so many like existential crises and like existential fights with anarchists about this shit because it's like it's so silly. Like, who cares if like someone is asking you what you want to do and you agree? Like even if they were to tell you to do something and you want to do it and you agree and it's for your own benefit, like that.
Yeah. Well, and this is why I say, like, the whole idea of, like, the way they redefine hierarchy, it's like, or redefine authoritarian, or redefine authority, it's like, okay, the revolution that we're doing as anarchists is not authority because we called it something else. It's anti-authority, actually, right? It's like, again, how do you get a whole section of a population to just agree with that definition? How does that happen?
Because one day, magically, everyone all of a sudden has class consciousness and decides to do an insurrection. Don't you know, Larry?
And doesn't just have class consciousness, though, Sebs, agrees with your new definition of authoritarianism.
Yeah. Like, all the working class will one day suddenly have all the knowledge of anarchy and decide to do an organized insurrection, but no one will have talked or anything because it will be all of a sudden, and if someone talks to someone else, that's hierarchical and oppressive, and yeah.
Exactly. And now this is where I think this part of his video gets into like some of the racism, or at least the chauvinism that's inherent in this kind of belief, okay? You'll see what.
And I think hierarchical realism is a result of the social abusive tendencies of a hierarchical society. You know, in a way that, you know, sorry if this is triggering at all, talking about abuse just for an interpersonal abuse, like in relationships here for a moment. But in an abusive relationship, what takes place is the abuser imprints their abusive ideology onto the victim. They abuse the victim, they break them down over and over and over, and their goal is to make the victim believe about themselves what the abuser believes about the victim, such that the victim becomes more malleable. They do what the abuser wants. They degrade the victim. They break down their psyche little by little until the victim is now able to be controlled. The victim no longer fights back. The victim now believes about themselves what the abuser believes about them. I think that that just takes place at a social scale under hierarchical power structures. Hierarchical power structures, they essentially carry out these same features of abuse, but at the social scale. And so we are all essentially institutionalized by hierarchy. And so we've taken into our minds this belief that hierarchy is the only way that society can exist, that the only structure by which politics can be managed. And in that process, we begin to think about ourselves what our abuser thinks about us, which is that we are servile, lowly, degraded,
like, this is not even
and
a good
that
argument.
we must have some powerful leader who's better than us and who knows better than us to tell us what to do. And therefore,
you see how shitty that analysis is?
Yeah. and it's even worse because like he's purposefully using uh how do you call it, like a spicy example to make it seem like all kind of hierarchies or power dynamics are as bad as an abusive relationship,
Yes.
when in reality that is not true. Like
Well,
if you can do the same exact example removing the abuse with like teaching, like
well, we
people
can throw
go to
back up.
school and they are indoctrinated into learning math, ooh, and they are oppressed until they get that 1 + 1 is 2,
Yeah.
and it's like they can learn all of that without the abuse.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and it comes, and it also it kind of comes back to like a criticism that he tried to throw at JT, saying that because JT said all Western or that anarchism is a Western thing, it is, but because he said that, therefore he's not analyzing all of these non-Western anarchist things, right? But it's like, so what he just did with the hierarchy there is the same fucking thing, right? He just said that because hierarchy that he lives under is abusive or whatever in capitalist society or class societies, therefore all hierarchies are. But doesn't that ignore like First Nations hierarchies, like my own Wabanaki Confederacy or other First Nations that have had hierarchies that are democratic? Like, doesn't it ignore that?
I mean, I would even go ahead and say that it ignores all democratic hierarchies or democratic organizations, because democracy itself can be defined as authoritarian because it's the will of the majority over the minority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, which is still a hierarchical power.
yeah, exactly.
Just because the masses are in control of the bourgeoisie doesn't mean that there's no hierarchy there. It just means it's a different hierarchy.
Yeah. And that is, and all of this is connected with the lack of dialectical materialism in an anarchist ideology. Like,
Yeah.
they cannot distinguish things. They cannot see things through and properly analyze them because they are still stuck in this liberal mindset of like things have to be good or bad. Like, there is no like nuance, no like further analysis. Like, it's still inherent, fundamentally a liberal way of thinking.
Exactly. Because it is liberalism, sort at the end of the day, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, you even see it expressed in some of the ways, like anarchism's like, well, we need to organize with other anarchists against the authoritarians, And you almost see it in his language there, almost implying that socialist states fighting against colonialism and fighting against imperialism are as bad as capitalist states that are the ones threatening them and causing them to take up the defensive positions that they need to.
Yeah, don't you know that communism has destroyed North Korea and it wasn't the US in their bombs?
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason Cuba is poor is not because the embargo and having to go through fascism and colonialism. It's because of Marxists. Yeah.
Yep, that's why.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the gang, kid. We've got leader Lenin, traitor Trotsky, and Stalin. What did Stalin do? He did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong.
I like that one too. The bourgeoisie ain't shit.
Oh, but be careful, Larry. If you say that Stalin did nothing wrong, you will be one of the bad communists.
Oh
who
yeah,
is not a real adult.
oh yeah, I forgot. I'm not allowed to joke about things. My bad. Bad. I forgot about that.
Right.
This- Fuck capitalism. Oh, absolutely. But also preserve the worship of the free market and meritocratic ethics that have been used to justify capitalism for 200 years. I stand for absolutely nothing.
Anarcho-capitalism, anarcho-communism. What's the difference?
None, really. That's why I actually put them both below the tank. See? I put them both below the tank.
Yeah.
You got anarcho-communism here. This is the libertarians and anarcho-capitalist types, and then the black flag, whatever that does.
What is that
What?
wood thing?
That's fascism.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a fasces or whatever. It's like a bundle of wood and an axe. It's actually like, if you look at US in some of the US like government buildings, they actually have that in the background.
Interesting. I have never seen that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like I think Italian was the first one that used that fascist symbol, I believe. It's a fucking toothbrush. Yeah, it's this right here. This is it. See, it's
Oh.
an axe in the bundle of sticks like this, and it's in, like I say, if you look at the U.S. political buildings, you'll see it's like in the background. I mean, there's a dime right there from the U.S. with it on it.
Oh, got it.
There it is in the Minnesota Supreme Court.
That's like totally normal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal to have fascist symbols everywhere, for sure.
I mean, you can see the US flag everywhere in the US, so.
Yeah. And outside the US.
True.
Frank, you reminded me of this one that I made.
Oh my god. I mean, the water is oppressing the dirt, so.
Yeah, you can't allow that. Definitely
about
can't
it.
allow that. the floor is capitalism.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's some old this. I mean, this is from 2018 when I was posting this shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because everybody, I remember Turning Point USA was always posting this bullshit. So they posted this one. This is how people live in Cuba. Like, I see absolutely nothing fucking wrong with that picture. What the fuck are you on about? So I was like, this is how people live in the US. Like, what the fuck?
Also, I'm pretty sure there are like a lot of fucking apartments in the US that don't even have a kitchen.
Oh god, yes.
Like
or a bathroom. You have to like go out in the hallway.
yeah, literally, yes. Yes.
Yeah, but they have the audacity to speak of places like that. These two quotes do get me every single time. We would never use nuclear weapons unless the sovereignty of our nation was infringed on by others. Kim Jong-un. I might use nuclear weapons in Europe. Hell, I might use them in Chicago. Yes, clearly Kim Jong-un is the unpredictable one here.
Yeah.
Trump literally declared he would use nuclear weapons on Chicago, for fuck's sakes. Yeah, this is an old part of Facebook here. This was my response to the ACAB thing. I was like, but, you know, let's consider. Oh, wait, there's a Bernie and Debs one? Oh. Oh, yeah, because Sebs is talking about, it's that famous Sebs quote. I said that, and I say now, while there's a lower class, I am in it. While there's a criminal element, I am of it. And while there is a soul in prison, I am not free. And then Bernie Sanders, you think we should open the borders and bring in a lot of low-wage workers? Or do you think maybe we should try to get jobs for our kids?
Hello.
Oh, you thought Bernie Sanders wasn't racist. Never mind. It's why I'm just like, really? You never noticed any problems with Bernie up until now, you know? It's like, I get it, but also, what?
Oh, I've had people justify and defend Bernie's vote for the bombing of Yugoslavia. Like,
Oh, it's such a justifiable thing too. Yeah.
like people have told me, oh, he was just one vote. He wasn't even the last vote.
Oh, therefore it doesn't. Yeah,
like,
therefore it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's like, then okay, if his vote didn't matter, then why did he vote for that?
This shit. To be clear, Nazis, socialists, communists, socialists, slavery, socialist, ISIS, socialist, Hamas, socialist, La Raza, socialist. They go, okay. I love this one too. This is on our God quote, Frank. Who said it better? The divine is God's concern, the human man. My concern is neither divine nor the human, not the true, good, just, free, etc., but solely what is mine, and it is not a general one, but it is unique, as I am unique. Nothing is more to me than myself. Fucking Sterner. And then Nietzsche. God is dead, but given the way of men, there are still be caves for thousands of years in which his shadow will be shown, and we still have to vanquish his shadows too. Or Kim Il-sung. Man is the master of all things, and the decisive factor in everything. My God is none other than the people. Only the popular masses are omniscient and omnipotent on almighty earth. Therefore, my lifetime motto is, the people are my God.
Base.
And then I baited people so they couldn't react otherwise. In true socialist fashion. I made it so all you could react to was Kim Il-sung because the flower reaction was gone. It was just after it was taken away.
Oh my god. True.
Oh, this is a cool little thing from the Black Panther Party here.
This is the best leftist meme. Only works. Literally a pamphlet.
I love, yeah, but that's the best shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's like, it is our duty of the Vanguard Party to teach the people in the black community the correct method of resistance. To do this, we must first break down the word juche. It means basically relying on yourself and supporting and supplying yourself. We cannot rely on foreign aid, and we still have to supply ourselves with the tools of liberation. As the black people in America have done before, we will make something from what appears to be nothing. The Vietnamese people have given us a perfect example of juche. They took their own things and put it on sharp sticks and used it to deal with the enemy. We black people in fascist America have the unlimited variety of things we and arm ourselves with. We must use the natural resources of our black communities. We will rely on our most abundant resources, garbage. When we have nothing else, we can use filled garbage cans to drop on the rooftops and from the rooftops on the heads of our oppressors. The same man who makes us pay to live in rat-infested, freezing cold homes can be dealt with in a basement full of starving rats. Broken wine bottles and hypodermic needles are very effective. Pork chop and chicken bones can even be utilized for weapons. This is Juche, relying on what you have to sustain your resistance. Not to mention the guns, knives, and gasoline, we have all of this, too. The people armed with natural resources of the black community will remove the oppressor. And that's from the Harlem branch of the Black Panther Party. I love that.
Maybe I'm pro-gun now.
What?
Nothing.
Here's another.
Fight the power. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm down for the rev. Fight the power. Great. We're gonna liberate. We're gonna liberate our homeland from colonial oppression. Hello, NATO? I'd like to report a human rights violation.
Literally. Literally.
Some classic memes here. Oh yeah, there's a good little thing here whenever somebody says the countries that signed contracts with Hitler. 1939 of August was the non-aggression pact known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Look at how many years of deals with like UK, France. UK's here fucking 3 times, for God's sakes, making deals with fucking Nazi Germany. Poland, UK, Japan, Romania, Lithuania, Italy, Denmark, Estonia, Latvia.
Interesting.
I wonder why they were getting fucking worried. I wonder why USSR was getting worried and felt the need to make a non-aggression pact. You know? Does this have, like, does this have a bunch of tracker fucking information up here? What the hell's going on here? I can never tell with this shit.
I don't know. This is why I don't use Facebook anymore.
It's like, that's a lot of fucking information in that link.
Might as well put your address in the in the URL.
Yeah, that's what I'll do, Blatt. Good idea. I like this one. Fuck tanky. Stalinism is right-wing socialism. Follow the teachings of the true socialists, like my boy Che here. I have sworn before a picture of the old and worn Comrade Stalin that I won't rest until I see these capitalist octopuses eliminated. I just love the image of Che Guevara, like, swearing before an image of Stalin.
Che who?
Damn it. You make me not want to say the fucking names at all.
Guevara.
What?
Guevara.
Guevara.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan.
Oh, so you're corrected and then you immediately want to ditch everything? Interesting.
No, I just listen to you. I just get the social anxiety working out.
A leftist critiqued me. I'm done with leftism. Why I left
Like,
the
yeah,
left.
that's what I said. Left. I'm done with leftism. Why I left the left. Seb's help me pronounce something. Oh, Sebs, what's that you're cutting out?
Oh my god.
Oh god. I just like this image here.
Oh my god, yes.
It is important to completely eliminate manual labor and modernize production processes. Yeah, I was wondering who would notice it. The Trump helicopter.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, remember this? Remember this? After they
God.
murdered Eric Garner, they all went into the fucking Central Park wearing these shirts. I can breathe. Because, you know,
That's
Eric Garner's
so
last words were, I can't breathe.
disgusting.
As, you know, the police were kneeling down on his fucking, the back of his neck. So they all went into the park in protest of the protesters who were protesting them murdering Eric Garner. They went and did a demonstration wearing these sweaters that said, I can breathe.
How come people genuinely think that cops in the US are not all fascists?
Right? Like, they literally do this.
Hello.
It's like, imagine putting this sweater on and going out. Like, what?
Like, if any police is allowed to do that, how are you saying, oh, it's a few bad apples? Like, no, if it was a few bad apples, they wouldn't be allowed to do this.
Yeah,
you know?
a demonstration like mocking a dying man's words that they murdered.
Like, hello? Literally the KKK.
Yeah, it is. They lynched a man and now are celebrating it in the open. That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, Gaddafi.
Oh my god.
For 6 years, you have been running away, fearing confrontation with me. Let me assure you that you shouldn't be afraid. After 6 years, it has become clear that the lie stands behind you, and the grave stands before you. You were created by Britain. You were protected by America. You're wondering why they went after Gaddafi so hard.
It is truly heartbreaking to me every time I'm reminded that after after a big speech from any African leader against the West, they get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, absolutely. They're like,
it's
whoa, this
so
is a bit
fucked
too
up.
influential for our likings. You know? This is a good one. Nikita Khrushchev, the difference between the Soviet Union and China is that I rose to power from the peasant class, whereas you came to power from the privileged Mandarin class. And Zhao Enlai says, true, but there is a similarity. Each of us is a traitor to his class. God damn! Just fucking burned him. Khrushchev is fucking on fire after that shit.
Oh my god.
It's the perfect comeback. Like, they're literally, I can't imagine a more epic fucking rebuttal than that. Like, damn, he really did him like that.
Hello.
Stop. Oh yeah, my thing. Foolish reactionaries. Trump is a good man, fighting for the people of the U.S. and they love him. Standing behind like inches of fucking glass, raised up from the fucking people. Kim Jong-un tortures and mistreats his people. They see him as an evil tyrant.
Right.
The like crowd of people is like, even if he had security detail actually there, who that might be what this guy is, what's he gonna do?
Also, he's a tyrant and everyone hates him, but also
They all want to hug him.
they are all brainwashed and love him because they are brainwashed.
Right, the brainwashing. Right. I forgot.
No.
That thing that only non-whites can be susceptible to.
And also, they're all just paid actors, so they don't actually care about him.
Right,
they are
right.
paid to care.
They're paid 2 million actors.
Yeah, they actually staged that photo. So.
Oh, I actually improved this meme later on.
Oh my god.
Because the Khrushchev corn meme. I was like, wait, I think this one works even better though. Look, see? This is an improvement.
So good.
Oh yeah, that's dummy when he says that to the interviewer asking him questions. Beautiful, beautiful. There's another quote about Gorbachev too that Deng Xiaoping said about how this man might appear smart, but in fact he is stupid or something.
Oh my god, yes, I remember that.
What he said after fucking Gorbachev visited him.
Oh my god.
Crack me up.
I've seen this.
I've never done anything in my life. I know this. There we go. See, that's the one of Macno that I made.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and is this? Oh, and it was deleted for fuck's sakes.
Of course it was deleted. Oh.
But yeah, banditry, Macno, spokes in the tires. Fucking tankies wiped us out because of our ideology.
Also, r/communism is so weird. There is r/communism 101, but they are against like entryism, and the entryism is actually done in r/communism.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like weird.
Reddit is a weird place in general. And then I sort of gave the anarchists a break for a while, I guess. Honey, please wake up her son. Chuchi is correct in an original revolutionary philosophy.
Wake up, sheeple.
Oh yeah, I did this one with the, and then I improved it with this.
Oh my god, nice.
Yep. See, that's when I stopped doing as much on here.
Wait, what was that wall meme about?
When the wall is
When
finished, but they find oil in Mexico.
Oh my god. Literally.
I love the Assad fucking memes too.
Oh my god.
Gaddafi on his way out, but Bashar al-Assad is next. John McCain
Died. Oh my god, he died. Oh my god.
The curse of the lion. Yep. Oh god. When you hate authoritarian governments, yet have no problem with hierarchical capitalist business structures. Like, what the fuck? The dialectic is what gives the Marxists their power. It surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the galaxy together.
Oh.
Yep. Fishhook theory. There you go. Fishhook theory. Far left, Marxism, Leninism. We could remove that second one. But then you get anarcho-communism, and it loops back around to anarcho-capitalism.
True.
And then Posadism is just over here, because nobody knows what the hell's going on with that. And this was the political compass meme I was most proud of. Class struggle.
True.
Dennis from Always Sunny. Oh, Marxism, Leninism is the name of the game. It's dialectical materialism that gives the movement its scientific character. Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's a good one.
Oh, true. Interesting.
A progressive Georgian Democrat. I love this one too. The Soviet Union, because this is from Turning Point USSR, Turning Point USA, an actual post they made. And they said the Soviet Union never achieved communism. They were actually the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Duh, no shit, Sherlock. Comrade Stalin, that's literally what we've said the whole time. I love that. Stalin. The Blue Book of Communism. Stalin did nothing wrong. Damn, I wish I could read. This one too. Sorry, Tanky. You look like a member of the Amish community. Well, thank you, Bob Killer. Appreciate you complimenting the Amish like that. Sorry, Tanky, I'm not interested. My BuzzFeed political quiz says I'm full of liberal ideas about totalitarianism, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Not the finger gun.
Okay, Hagrid, that's too far. That's a bridge too far, my friend. You're getting a ban for that instantly. No one refers to me as a Harry Potter character.
Oh, okay. I was like,
oh wait,
I was thinking that, and then
Frank
I was like,
just banned Cinnamon Challenge because I banned that person too fast.
Oh my god!
Cinnamon.
Wow.
Fentanyl. What's up with all you racists and fentanyl? You're obsessed with fentanyl. Just do the fentanyl and shut up about it, all right? Jesus Christ, you don't need to announce it. What are you going to bed?
Deserved it.
Okay, looks like you're going to bed.
Freezing Joe.
Oh, which anarchist fucking... You got a bird's nest on your head. Yes, this is a bird's nest. This is what a bird's nest looks like.
I am so confused.
I think we angered the anarchists, Sebs. I like how they all have like 3 letters in their names also. Or 3 numbers. A name and then
But
3
like,
numbers.
the way they're like trying to insult you, they're like 5-year-olds.
It's the worst insults I've ever seen. Johnny 3 numbers out here.
Literally.
Like a bird's nest on my head. Oh dear. Those guys said I had a bird nest.
What does that even mean?
Actually, comrades, I got a head straightened out because I got a bird's nest on my head. I'd be happy to have a bird's nest on my head. Did you ever consider that? Huh? Have you ever considered that I like birds and I would indeed welcome them to nest on my head? You're free.
Have you considered that it is actually a bird's nest,
Yeah, exactly.
and the birds are just on vacation right now?
They're out getting some food for me.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that's what I do with the birds. That's why I have ducks. Anyway. Hey, Glizzarella. Oh my god. Oh, the response. There's a good response to this one. It is possible my refusal. Is it possible my refusal to engage with the actual theories of Marxism and my lack of understanding of any of its basic ideas means that my criticism are meaningless liberal hand-wringing? No, it's every revolutionary and successful
EJ.
revolution that's been wrong. Like, tell me that's not the video that we just watched.
Literally.
And then this person produces excellent anarchist syndicalist society. Where? When? Gets steamrolled by butthurt tankies. Tankies whine on the internet 100 years later.
Okay, first of all, legally, which syndicalist anarchy society? And second, if they got steamrolled by tankies, then maybe they weren't that good, just saying.
I'm the one who
No,
posted the
like-
response here. Keep in mind, this is me from 2018, so that's what, 5 years ago? This is me responding 5 years ago. Which one? Magno or the Bandit King who terrorized the people, or Spain who received countless aid from the USSR and still could not consolidate its internal forces to defeat Franco? Because the tankies no longer had the resources to send, Spain is not getting steamrolled. USSR was facing crisis of its own with German fascism growing on the borders and having just come out of the war of invasion from 14 foreign nations, which they did on their own without receiving any kind of the material aid that the Spanish were given from them. This is a testament to the failure of Spanish anarchists, not some betrayal that silly left-book anarchists who still buy bourgeois lies whine about constantly.
Again, I feel like people underestimate under how much pressure the USSR was throughout its entire existence.
Right?
Let alone the first 20 to 30 years. Like,
yeah, and that's the funny thing, like, get steamrolled by butthurt tankies. Yeah, that's what they did. They were just so butthurt that they just stopped sending aid to Spain. Or is it that, you know, they were handed
Also,
down a
butthurt of
society that was
what?
maldeveloped? Like, they had to industrialize quickly or face the wrath. And again, not to mention they just fought off 14 capitalist powers trying to restore a monarchy or a czar. Funny. We got any other good ones?
Aww.
Okay.
I love that.
This is a good meme too. Look, I was out here in 2018 fucking saying this shit.
Wow, has that rhetoric been going on for that long? Interesting.
Yep. Oh my god.
Great, Larry. Great me.
Okay, that might not have been me who posted that one. I wish it would tell me who posted it. I feel like this wasn't me, but it could have been.
Look.
When you don't trust anything the government says except what they say about socialist states.
True.
That's
literally. Literally, anarchists will literally be like, the US bad, except when we are talking about the US in comparison to any other country.
Yeah, the socialist states. When you're white, first world, ultra leftist, or liberal, and the people you colonize and oppress build a socialist revolution. You hit the big old authoritarian button. I would have been friends with Stalin.
Oh my god, should I watch what was this? Seinfeld?
It's from Seinfeld. Yeah.
Seinfeld.
I find it hilarious
I would have
still.
been friends with Stalin.
I find it hilarious still, but it could be just like I'm programmed to find it hilarious at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my god, yes.
This one too, because this is the soup Nazi.
To say
up
that
here.
socialism doesn't work is to overlook the fact that it did work, and it worked for hundreds of millions of people.
It's the soup Nazi up top and Ned Isakoff, the communist, on the bottom.
Yeah. The communist bottom.
And look.
Yes. Hello?
Direct action, Trotskyism, Maoism, Leninism, Posadism, Luxemburgism, Socialism, Makhnovism, Social Democracy, Juche, Posadism, Mutualism, Stalinism, Third Worldism, Liberation Theology, and Libertarian Socialism. They're all right there. What do you mean, hello?
Oh my god.
They're all right there. What do you want? Oh, this one's good.
Oh my god.
Let's go, Smokes. Let's go, Smokes.
Are you sure it wasn't you, the previous one, Larry?
This one wasn't me either. I know who posted this one.
Oh, okay.
There's actually only 2 of us who have the ability to post on this page.
Oh my god.
Is this your homework, Larry? It's my fault, though. You know, we could say it's my fault. Dummy Dorigo, this is the lowbrow shit I'm into. PV very soft.
The silliest shit.
Oh, it's golden, though. It's golden. There we go. This is a picture I actually modified. This meme existed, but it had Barney there instead of Kim Jong-un.
Oh my god.
And I was like, you could literally just put a picture of Kim Jong-un there and like it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I went from Bernie to Kim in a span of 3 years, so.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't take long if you start like questioning things.
Actually asking them, yeah.
And actually like actually questioning your own beliefs and being like, hey, wait a second, does this solve this problem? You know?
Yeah, cause the thing is, like, for me, it's not like, I was looking for something to describe my ideology and not like looking for an ideology to be described by.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the difference between treating it like an identity, like I say, with like which I kind of get the feeling like with EJ, you know? Because like EJ very much understands, or it seems to understand, dialectical materialism and everything like this. Oh, here comes another four number fucking name coming in.
Yeah.
But EJ seems to very much understand like dialectical materialism, but still just like does not want to drop, just would not consider getting rid of like the anarchist label, you know?
I honestly just think it's that them having the anarchist label makes them more palatable to a Western audience.
Yep. Oh my god, it's that same proud to be white fucking bullshit that came in the other day. The exact same copy pasta.
Oh my god.
It's the exact same copy pasta that was here yesterday. Our stream is on some kind of thing somewhere. Oh yeah, everybody was on the moth lamps there at one time, a long time ago. The whole internet thing that went on.
I am anti-moth.
Sebs is
I
anti-moth.
am actually, yeah, I was covering my eyes.
Oh yeah, look, in response to this, I did a whole thing like in response to that whole anarchist in Spain thing. Because this is how anarchists want you to think it was. This is how it actually was.
Literally. Wait, what?
It was a coalition of groups. I mean, the CNT FAI did participate, but they weren't the only group,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the PCE was like the Communist Party.
Oh, got it.
See, these are the groups
Alright.
that were participating in
yeah.
this struggle, right? Whereas anarchists basically talk about Catalonia like it's just this pure anarchist thing. Like, no, it was a coalition. It wasn't led by anarchists by any means, you know? So like even the way like they distort exactly what happens there.
Yeah, that's so weird.
How the Soviet republics voted for the preservation of USSR on March 17th, 1991. But you see, they wanted capitalism, everybody.
What?
Which one? This one or the
What
one
was
right before?
the previous one? Wanna haze the kulaks?
Wanna haze the kulaks?
Hello.
Yep.
Be like Mary. True.
Powerful finger. Good point. I like this one. This is one of my favorite. I just love the imagery of this here. The anarchist is like this big monster. Like, did you know that you could be against imperialism and its victims?
Oh.
Oh yeah, there's always terrible comments. Cinnamon. Look, three. Well, this is actually. Oh wait, this is a base 3 arrows guy. His one arrow's going the proper direction. Did you know you can act anti-imperialist while being imperialist? Huh? Wow. But anarchists ain't against imperialism. They support it all the time. Echo chamber.
The chamber. Oh. True.
I love Lennon with his cat.
Oh my god.
And then
literally.
And then look at the comment here. Well, that's odd. I understand the concept of dialectical materialism, and I don't worship the state. Sure you don't. Sure you don't. Alice knows what's up here. It's an old classic one.
True. True. No gods, no masters, no mass movements, no studying history, no strong organization, no materialism.
Yep. Also, no bedtimes.
No bedtimes, no showers, no believing in reality.
I've literally seen anarchists calling for the abolition of measurements. Because to measure something is to inherently compare it to another thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not that far from abolishing math somehow, you know, abolish numbers.
Yeah, no, it's not.
True.
See, I've been doing this for a long time, comrades. Doing it for a long time. Choose your own radical ideology. Isn't this a United States source? Yep. And that US media lied about Iraq, Chile, Cuba, Libya, United States history because it benefited the ruling class. Yep. And the US ruling class opposes the DPRK, China, Syria, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia, and Nicaragua, so we shouldn't trust their sources on those countries. That makes sense to me. So we shouldn't trust this source. No, they wouldn't lie about that. That's what we're dealing with.
That literally made me a thank you.
Yeah, same here. That's what turned me same. That's what made me study more and more of these places.
Because like people would always say, "Oh yeah, the U.S. always lies," but then all of a sudden trust them when it was about something about countries outside the U.S.
I love this one too. The anarchists sabotage worker states, allies with counter-revolutionary forces after the revolution because the state is a big meanie. You can't do that, and then they cry, and then look at the comments here. This page is going downhill. Like, did you not see the memes I've showed you? Those were memes that preceded all of this.
Right?
Like, what are you talking about? This page has always been
just like the Church of Scientology.
Yeah, look, I say this page has always strictly upheld scientific socialism. Right, just like the Church of Scientology has always strictly upheld scientific religion. Oh, and there's me. See, I got a lot.
Literally.
Socialism requires a lot of government regulations. Socialism requires a lot of proletarian government regulation over imperialists and colonialists. And then gives me a Merriam-Webster definition of socialism.
Oh my god.
Did nothing wrong, did nothing, did wrong.
True.
3 types of Soviet leaders. When someone asks you if you know the local tanky, of course I know him, he's me. See, I've been defending China for a long time, Sebs.
I haven't said that you didn't defend them.
Yep, you said it.
No.
Said it.
I said that you didn't like them as much.
And now you see that's clearly bullshit.
You can still not like them as much and defend
No,
them.
clearly bullshit.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's when they literally replaced his Wikipedia page and look, put him as the acting president of Venezuela. Like, he never acted. He never got to act as the president.
Oh my god.
I love this one too. From the Chavista Constituent Assembly, and the bottom is from the National Assembly being promoted by the United States. Anybody notice anything?
Wow, Larry, can't believe you would be racist against white people.
I know, but it does stick out to somebody. There's something going on here.
I only see a I only see a white wall in the second one.
Yeah, right? What declares himself the winner of the Super Bowl?
Hello?
It was a joke. Because anybody, you could just declare anything then. Here you go, your different brands of imperialism. You can choose your own. Coming up to a U.S. election poll near you.
Imperialism for her.
Benevolent imperialism? Wow. Imperialism light?
I would even critique that meme and say that like Obama's imperialism was actually worse than Trump's.
Oh yeah, God yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, is light beer all that much better for you? I don't know.
Well, I personally don't drink, so I wouldn't know.
Pipeline through indigenous land.
True.
Oh, so you like Trump? Yeah, that's the. Invade sovereign nations to keep imperialism safe for the benefit of the rich as an army, communication, and information system specialist. Damn, that's an ad.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Jorgensen.
Wow, why did you skip the one quote by a woman?
Where? This?
The Pamela Anderson. Yes.
Oh. I mean, I posted them.
It's all for one motherfucker and one motherfucker for all motherfuckers everywhere.
Here, drink this. Thank you. The true question is whether disobedience can be constructive. What comes the day after can be progressive. In France and all over the world. Use this energy so instead of violence, we have to imagine constructing equal egalitarian societies. And the answer is, it came from rising tension. Oh, it must be down here. I despise violence, but what is the violence of all of these people and burn luxurious cars compared to the structural violence of the French and global elites? Pam out here answering the important questions. Instead of being hypnotized by the burning images, we have to pose the question, where did it come from? And the answer is, it came from the rising tensions between the metropolitan elite and the rural poor, between the politics represented by Macron and the 99% who are fed up with inequality, not only in France but all over the world.
Comrade Anderson, indeed.
Right? Hey, there's a great Kim Jong-il. There's a great Kim Jong-il quote for what we've been talking about today. Libertarianism is like an invisible moth gnawing away at the people's political integrity.
Literally.
Kim Jong-il knows what's up. Oh yeah, this is a good one too. Look.
It's all for one motherfucker and one motherfucker for all motherfuckers everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Tommy Dorco, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Pixeltronic. Thank you, comrade. Hey, appreciate that. Paying it forward, way to go. I like this one. This is how Martin Luther King was depicted in 1967 to scare white Americans, in case there is any confusion about what the strategy is. I plan to lead another non-violent march tomorrow. So, you know. Just know at the time they didn't portray him as non-violent. That's a way to whitewash him today. Whitewash the legacy of what he struggled for.
Yep.
Oh, people got all up in arms about this one. Nordic countries, social programs, imperialism towing it along.
Ooh.
People are like, no, they can afford that because the US is the one spending money on their military/defense. It's capitalist fault they make all the money off of the countries that do not believe in capital. Jesus Christ. Ah, yes, imperialist Finland.
Literally, yes.
Yes, imperialist Finland.
Oh.
Yes, very different from China, whom's dick you suck 24/7.
Well, I enjoy sucking China's dick, so check
Yeah,
it
so
in
back
here.
off. Oh, and this was in 2020 we had a dispute between Mi'kmaq community and the subnatic fishery and non-indigenous commercial fishery. And this is a visual comparison of the indigenous fishery, which is 250 traps, Mi'kmaq fishery traps. About each
Holy
lobster
shit.
100 equals 100 traps. So that's about 250 traps, and this is the commercial that we're complaining and trying to destroy the indigenous catches. That was just in 2020 when that went on. Here it is here. This is where they overturn First Nations catches of lobster. Broke open the containers they were stored in, and just all over the ground destroyed the catch. Again, and I showed you the scale difference of like what Mi'kmaq people were pulling in versus what settler fishers are pulling in.
Oh my god.
I like that one. We can coup who we want. That's what Elon said.
Yeah.
Joe Biden after the invasion of Libya. NATO got it right. In this case, America spent $2 billion and it didn't lose a single life. This is more the prescription for how to deal with the world as we go forward than it has in the past. Old Genocide Joe. Of course, you know about the Biden crime law and all that, I'm assuming.
How not to?
This is still 2020, too. Child labor doesn't have to be exploitation. It gave me life skills. From the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Hello.
Like, what? This really hit close to home later. They say the next ones will be sent by Biden. Really makes you feel like they chose the lesser evil.
Right.
Oh yeah, then there's the whole
This is Antifa.
the insurrection thing. Oh, this is when that tweet from Pedro Pascal surfaced about him being he in a post in 1920 after a tweet of him from 2018 service. In the tweet, Pascal also compared the United States to Nazi Germany. Written in 2018, the post is simply captioned, "This is America," with an image of children in concentration camps during the Holocaust and children in detention in the United States.
Base.
Yeah, right? And and here it is right here. See? This is the tweet.
Oh my god.
And of course it's Ben Shapiro digging it up. Disney Plus must immediately fire any actor who has made an overwrought Holocaust comparison.
Oh my god.
This was when Rush Limbaugh died.
Oh my god.
You didn't know about
I didn't
this?
know that.
Rush Limbaugh had
I knew
a segment
about
called
Rush Limbaugh, and I knew that he died and that he was a right-wing radio host, but I didn't know this specifically.
Oh yeah. He had the AIDS update. He mocked dying or dead gay people on his radio show. That's what he did.
Damn.
Did you see the 10-year-old who raised $80,000 to help fund History Project to tell the story of the attack on Pearl Harbor? Oh my god. 11-year-old who raised $80,000 to fund a history project to tell the story of the attack on Pearl Harbor. What the fuck?
Hello?
That is dystopian as shit. Boots Riley. When the residential school thing was coming out.
Okay, you had in that other photo you actually had a nest in your head.
I had a nest in my head?
Yeah,
in this?
like, yes.
Yes, clearly. That's when it was a full-blown nest. Oh yeah, this right here, look. Capitalism, it's the best! It's like this little kid. Capitalism is the best! Capitalism,
market,
A+, free market, rewards success, private property, individual freedom. Socialism, F. Controlled markets, punishes success, rewards laziness. Government controls business, high taxes. Communism, F-. No private property, government owns everything, people have no rights, promotes corruption, no one can be successful.
Okay, but think about the rewards laziness for a second. If I'm a kid and I'm lazy, I would like to be rewarded for my laziness. Just saying.
This is the education. This is the education that that PragerU pitched to the U.S. and said that this is what we should put in the schools, and the U.S. and several states went, yes, we should.
Right? It's so dystopian.
And they did put it in the schools. So that's what they're teaching kids in U.S. schools now in places. Yeah, look at this. America in one photo. Billionaire space race in the back, and then look at the news ticker on the bottom. Millions of Americans facing eviction.
And people think the US is not fascist right now. I'm honestly like...
Right? It's amazing to me. Like, how can you look at the picture and not think that? Like, it's like, it's perfectly oh yeah, Ashton. Ashton Kutcher explains how China used social media control to spread propaganda across the globe and defeat the US at sea. Oh yes, Ashton Kutcher, renowned expert on China, Chinese language, history, and world politics in general.
Right? He's a fucking crypto bro, like...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and then I fixed this. because it had this was some racist ass like anti-capitalist meme that like Communist Party USA put out before. So it's like black power, not white power, is workers' power.
True.
It had to be fixed. Oh yeah, and there you go. It's Tupac's Communist Party USA membership card. Well, Youth League membership card.
Oh, interesting. He was a Cancer. No, actually, no, he wasn't a Cancer. Forget about it.
6/16/71. Yep, a friend of mine actually dug up his young communist card going through old archives. This fucker got... Who the fuck is this?
Hello?
One of the most flamboyant lumpen? I grew out of the phase where I was believing he was off by the CIA, FBI when I was like 19. Even if it's true, it would be a non sequitur, by the way. Okay, sure. It's Gemini.
Gemini,
Apparently.
thank you.
Look at this fella. Ted Dresnock, son of James Joseph Dresnock. One thing our father asked us to do was to become faithful workers that render devoted service to dear leader comrade Kim Jong-un and to raise our children so they will follow and brighten that path. Oh, the only good white guy.
Literally.
Yep, there you go. Oh, and this is the newest one that I posted so far.
Literally.
I feel like that's a good capper for the meme page right there.
Literally. That's so good though.
It does explain a lot. I'll tell you. It really does explain a lot. Yeah, Eels Miles Strong punching the air right now.
Send that to Midwestern Marks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like the word but I mean, it could describe somebody's personality. You know?
Yeah.
If you're a reactionary, if you're a bigot, I think that applies to your
Ugly is
personality.
more of like a state of mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like ugly towards other people, you know? Not that themselves are like ugly in that sense, but ugly like as in you don't want to upset them. You don't know what they're going to say.
I mean, but even then, Bob, like the meme is not saying what is ugly. You know, ugly in itself is a subjective word.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
you know
Dorco.
I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very subjective word.
Like one person can say that Brad Pitt is ugly, and like you cannot objectively say, like you cannot like objectively disagree or agree. You know
No, because
I mean?
there is no objective attractiveness. Technically, it's entirely possible that somebody finds someone who like is considered to be the most attractive, like George Clooney. I know people who didn't find George Clooney to be the most attractive man on earth for sure. But he basically like he was people's choice for that for like a long time. I can remember years of goddamn George Clooney being the sexiest man alive. Okay. Hey. Good God.
Those are some interesting channels to be banned in.
Yeah, yep. Um, welcome in, Crunchy Asparagus. That's a mix. Do you have one, Cinnamon? That's a good. I don't know. I never can remember the commands for a Posada
Were
bot.
banned.
And what is it? An asterisk?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I guess I should put somebody's name there, huh?
No.
You're clean, Cinnamon. No criminal record for you.
Oh, I feel so dirty now.
What?
Nothing. No, do not. Do not.
Let's see. What does mine say? Okay.
Oh my god. Interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expected.
Oh my god, did they ban you at the end? No, oh my god, do not do me.
They got you too, Sebs.
Oh my god.
You associated too much with me, and now you caught that famous horse band too.
Oh, am I banned?
Yeah, it says you're banned from Famous Horse right there.
Yeah, but sometimes they ban you and then unban you.
I bet you're banned. I'd be willing. You come on my stream all the time. I'm willing to bet you're banned.
Is he still watching you? Oh my god. Oh my god, I am banned.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You associate with me. I guarantee you were banned.
Oh my god. White people are so fragile.
Bob Forte also banned from Famous Horse. Yeah. Yeah, all you gotta do is associate enough with Larry and Famous Horse will ban you, don't worry.
No, but the thing is like...
and Sam also banned from Famous Horse.
Sam, why are you banned on Thoughts? Oh my god.
What's the deal with Famous Horse? They came at me and tried to say that I was patriotic socialist because my comrade Wasiah Whitebird was interviewed by Caleb Maupin 10 years ago. Because and by the way, the whole reason why my comrade Wasiah Whitebird was interviewed by Caleb Maupin is because he was elected to city council. Look at spelling. There. See? It's such a rare election, he actually managed to get his own Wikipedia page as a result of the election.
Oh, interesting. Okay, there are some channels that I didn't know I was still banned on.
What?
There are some channels that I didn't know I was still banned on.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Those are exactly what I expected. All of my bans are directly related to that Famous Horse bullshit. My beard does deserve a shout out.
I mean, my bans are related to white people being fragile, so...
Yeah, I mean, well, that's sort of this, I guess, a similar thing that's going on here, I guess.
Okay, not even them being fragile, them literally being racist. Actually, overtly racist.
Yep. Famous Horse for Hashkush too. See? Hashkush, you've been in here too many times, Hashkush. I told ya. If you hang out in Larry's, too often, famous horse will ban you. Yep. I'm telling you. You were enough of a regular in here that famous horse apparently banned you. That's white people, Hash. That's what white people do. They protect each other.
Oh.
They protect each other. It's like, I mean, that's the whole reason why I said certain people haven't wanting to come in here, or haven't wanted to even interact with, like, other settlers like Lenin, because of fear that their viewers, like, now you see the credence in what I'm saying, that they're worried that their viewers who also watch Famous Horse will stop contributing to them if they are seen associating too closely with myself, or Sebs, or Lenin, or Barry, whoever the fuck. It seems associating too closely with Barry or me or whoever, because then those people who watch Famous Horse might stop contributing and get banned from Famous Horse's channel, you see. And you see why I'm saying this now. Like, it's not just like a hunch I have. It's a thing. If the charges are you're a patsock, that's pretty readily debunkable. Oh god, yeah. Of course it is. I mean, I've already I've addressed it before, and we've even had like mutual people come and say, "Hey, Famous Horse, you know, I think you got the wrong idea," and they just block my comrade instead. Yep, Frankster says is also banned in Famous Horse's channel, apparently. See? And because Frankster has a VIP badge in here, so that tracks. You're in here enough that you get a VIP badge, of course. Wow. Just so pathetic. That is incredible. I saw GMO ask too, right?
But also that takes like at the very like him, or at the very least one of their mods having to watch your channel enough to like see who is VIP and be manually like
and banning
them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Imagine how pathetic your life is. That you start the slander campaign on me, and then what? You sit here watching me a lot? Well, Frank made it so Famous Horse can't watch anymore, I guess.
No.
Because I do have it turned off so people can't watch my stream if they're banned.
Yeah, it's also turned off.
What's that?
I also have the if you're banned, you can still watch my stream.
You have that turned on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like people can watch my stream. Like I don't really care.
I mean, I don't care. It's just like I'm just like for this. It was like, well, I don't want. I just want to discourage trolls. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's hilarious. Yeah, hash kush that makes you patsock by association, all because Wasiah Whitebird was interviewed by Kayla Maupin one time.
Oh my god, BBH. Of course you're not banned anywhere.
BB is clean. GMO is clean. It's just people that, like, I guess are frequent chatters in here and have caught the notice of Famous Horse, I guess. That's hilarious how many of you are banned by Famous Horse. Wow. Solidarity, comrades. Larry will entertain you now. And we'll learn together. Yeah, exactly, Red. And that's what's funny about it, right? By that logic, so if you don't know, Red in chat here is Wasiah Whitebird, our comrade. By that logic, I might as well be capitalist too because I was interviewed by the Washington Post, right?
You are actually personal friends with Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, exactly. How could you do that? How could you betray us for Bezos by interviewing with them?
You are actually a billionaire by association.
That's it. Communists can never talk to newspapers from bourgeois sources. We know this. They become capitalists when they do. That's the way it works. We don't make the rules.
Wow, you exist in a capitalist society. You are literally Hitler.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what's so funny about it. I mean, the whole reason why they're using, I've said this before, the whole reason why they are using that as the reasoning for what makes us pat socks is because there's nothing else that exists, you know? There's like nothing else to go on. There's no other like evidence of any of us being any sort of pat sock, so they have to make this reach of it being because Commander Wed was interviewed by Caleb Maupin. Clearly, he's a pat sock. That's how that works. All right, I'm gonna give you your daily election. It's time to do elections, everybody. So get your voting fingers ready here. No write-ins. We don't accept write-ins. Okay. Here we go. Your election is in the chat now, so like, it's not like a US election. Your voice actually matters in here for affecting like policy. Wherever you want to see us raid, go ahead and cast your vote now. That's who we will raid. I missed the deadline to give a fuck about which two shitbags I'm supposed to give a fuck about. Yeah, you're not supposed to give a fuck about them. You just write in fuck them. Anyway. Well, that was a fun day of talking about anarchism, Sebs.
Yeah.
And you all get to see my meme page that I've curated for years and years. After supper, Bob. After supper. I don't worry. There will be spear thrusting, of course. Oh, don't worry. I will save the bot. Now, Frank, remove the ban on Famous Horse for some reason. What are you up to, Frank? I tried voting twice because I have my phone and my laptop open. It wouldn't let me. Oh.
Don't worry, Cinnamon. Larry doesn't delete the bots unlike other people.
Yeah, I'm not like that. Famous Horse sent me money to ask me to unban him.
Oh my god.
Paid spy up in here.
You should accept their money and still not unban them.
Yeah, that would be the revolutionary thing to do. Heard it's revolutionary to take money without compensation.
Oh my god.
Anarch, yeah. Oh my god. Wow. So we all learned about anarchism. Should I put that like on my YouTube, the rant, like some of the rant about anarchism or something, do you think?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, and the title should be in response to
a response to anarchists' response about JT's response to
yeah.
A response to a response about on authority. I
A
like it.
response to white supremacists responding to second thought. Yeah.
I would do it. I would do it.
Yeah, do it. Because you won't be promoting anarch while also getting that second thought cloud.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I like that. Now we're thinking strategically.
Yeah.
A history of anarchist jealousy, and also, Dummy Dorco, don't forget, also a history of changing the names of words without actually
Literally.
without actually addressing anything that anybody else is saying. It's like it's just like, oh, it's like, doing revolution is authority. No, it's not authority, it's actually anti-authority. Well, okay then, never mind. The pedantic method, yeah. Well, as you see by my page, I'm long versed in the pedantic method. I have dealt with it for a long time. These gentlemen ought to see a revolution and how authoritarian it is.
Right.
It's like even the very act of like engaging in any kind of combat or defensive strategy against the bourgeoisie like necessitates some kind of like hierarchical command, just to actually have an operation. Yes, you're all doing the voting. What are you trying to do? Feel like you're just trying to put something on my head or something? Oh, that would have been good. Something breaking on my head. Yeah. What is it? The hell is this? Look! Look, she's... Miss Larry was trying to kill me on camera.
Yeah. Babe?
Oh my god, we got a three-way tie? What the shit? God damn it, comrades. Well... USA Hole, Dark Native, or Jane Doe?
I mean, you rated Jane yesterday.
Did I? Okay.
Didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I might have. Okay, so Dark Native or USA Hole? Sebs?
Dark Native.
Okay, Dark Native it is. That's 2 votes for Dark Native. The tiebreakers. Yeah, just gotta get a tiebreaker. I'm not scared to do it. Alright, let us raid Dark Native. It's a free music video request Tuesday. So let us go and hang out. Solidarity to all the comrades who were banned by Famous Horse for watching my stream. I fucking appreciate you, comrades. Thank you for braving the battlefield and sticking with me, apparently. I appreciate you all. It means a ton, it really does. And thank you all for the support, the ridiculous hype train today and everything like that. That means a ton as well, both of it.
Thank you, Bob.
Long live the People's Revolution!
Oh, I'll get you before we go.
Oh, thank you.
Rylan, there you go. Clean as a whistle. Look at that. Alright, let's start our raid. If you're not subscribed to if you are subscribed to the channel, you can go ahead and copy that first raid message you see Meg pasting right now. If you are not subscribed to the channel,
I would have been friends with Stalin.
You can go ahead and copy this one. Yep. Frank, you now have to join the ranks of the band. Just
wait till Famous Horse is live and write something and
just be like,
probably ban you immediately.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like, I love Leaping Larry.
Yeah, just write Leaping Larry's an alright guy and watch how quick you get banned. Just go in sometime when he's streaming and just say Leaping Larry is an alright guy, and you'll probably catch an instant ban. I have to imagine. Okay, comrades, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your time. It means an absolute ton. Hope you come back and join me tomorrow for some more. Just use the emotes. That'll probably get you there too, especially that Juche Gang emote.
Oh, true.
I feel like that would be a good one.
Just the spinning chair one.
Yeah, yeah.
And say, I've arrived.
All right, comrades, goodbye. I'll see you all next time. Good day.
Do you literally have